Previously, Gao Peng sarcastically said Feng Zhu's plan sounds like a good plan. But Gao Peng knows that wanting his help is just a ruse and they really want is to get his grandfather to act. And if he agreed, his grandfather would follow him secretly to ensure his safety. Then Gao Peng wonders if they want to use him. Gao Peng disappointedly thinks he treats Feng Zhu as a friend and that is how he treats him, and Gao Peng angrily asks himself if he looks like a pushover to Feng Zhu. Gao Peng said that the Lord tier monsters don't have low intelligence unless humans really threaten their existence, and the Lord tier monsters wouldn't attack human-based cities on purpose. Then Gao Peng tells Feng Zhu that he thinks of him as his friend, so he should tell him the truth. Then Gao Peng asks Feng Zhu why the Chang'an military needs to kill the two Lord tier monsters, which made Feng Zhu stun for a second. Then Feng Zhu awkwardly responded that the grandson of one of the heads of the military region was attacked by the desert ruler during his mission in the Dali Desert, and unfortunately died while on duty. But Gao Peng just hang up while disappointedly saying Feng Zhu has become better with his words after joining the military, and a grandson of a Chang'an military district was killed by the desert ruler can't be a lie, but to say that he died while on duty is. Gao Peng also said he guessed that the grandson of a Chang'an military was either greedy for the fame of fighting a Lord tier, or he overestimated his own capabilities and wanted to tame it, or perhaps he wanted a Lord tier monster's core crystal. Gao Peng said because of the man's own greed, the man idiotically threw his life away. And his grandfather wants to avenge him but isn't well acquainted with his grandfather, so they turn to him, who is young and naive instead. Gao Peng also said for Feng Zhu and his past fellowship, he wouldn't have had any issue with requesting his grandfather's help for them, but Feng Zhu decided to take advantage of him instead, and now he had one less friend. Suddenly White tapped Gao Peng's shoulder, which made Gao Peng confused. Then White pointed to the bucket full of blood to show it to Gao Peng. Then Gao Peng happily hugged White Claw while thanking it, which made White blush, and when Gao Peng looked at White wound, it's almost healed. Then Gao Peng lifts up the bucket of blood while thinking the weight of white blood doesn't weigh like water, but like mercury, and there isn't even the tiniest ripple on its surface when he lifts it. Also, there is even a reflection to it like a mirror, which made Gao Peng wonder if white blood is really blood. Gao Peng also thinks the King tier familiars have already surpassed humans' understanding of biology because the King tier monsters are life forms of a higher level. Then Gao Peng happily said his money-grubbing mouse can reach the perfect grade. The next day Gao Peng was looking at Flamey Egg while saying Flamey's egg had been more active lately and it looked like it was going to evolve soon. Then he looks at Dazai, who is currently level 41, and Mouse, who is currently in the perfect grade, while saying Dazai and Mouse are promoted easily. Then Jai Huan called Gao Peng to say that the Guangong statue has been placed in front of Gao Peng Welfare School's gate. Jai Huan also said he heard that the statue killed a big honey badger on its first day of work, which allowed the cafeteria to provide an extra dish on its menu. Gao Peng responded that they made the best use of the statue. Suddenly a strong thunderlight appeared in the sky, which made Gao Peng wonder if it's going to rain. Jai Huan noticed Flamey Egg released a flame, which made Jai Huan tells Gao Peng that his fat Flamey seems to be close to evolving. Then the lightning strike hit the tree, which made the tree burn. Then Flamey, who successfully evolved, come out of the egg. Gao Peng thinks Flamey finally looks like a proper one-legged crane and not a penguin, but it's a little fat. Jai Huan looks at Gao Peng and asks if Flamey evolution counts as successful. Gao Peng responded yes and said that Flamey awakened a new bloodline, but the exact details can only be confirmed later. Flamey's new monster name is Forest Flame Spirit Crane, an ancestral bloodline reawakened. It was level 41 in perfect grade and its attributes are fire and wood. Its skills are Flame Mastery level 4 and Flame Resistance level 4, and its special characteristic is Fire Feather. Also, Flamey Introduction said Flamey has awakened a new bloodline in its body and it only needs to devour a large amount of fire attribute spirit to continue to promote its grade. Jai Huan tells Gao Peng that someone from the Chang'an military district approached him for a favor, and he knows that he already rejected them. But Jai Huan suggests Gao Peng go take a look and assess the situation, because if Gao Peng can help, then he should help, and if it's too inconvenient for him to help, he just turns around and leaves. Then Jai Huan asks Gao Peng what he thinks of his suggestion. Gao Peng agreed to his grandfather's suggestion while thinking even his grandfather wants him to go have a look, making him wonder if it could be that there was something else in Dali Desert. The next day, Gao Peng and his familiars arrived at Chang'an Base City. Gao Peng happily said his home and also said although his staying with his grandfather in Yuzhou makes him happy because Chang'an feels more like home to him. Then Gao Peng walked toward the roadside travel agency while saying they should get down to business. Gao Peng tells the receptionist that he wants to ask if they offer any travel programs to the Dali Desert. The receptionist responded that they currently don't have any travel programs to the Dali Desert, which made Gao Peng wonder if they really don't have a program for the Dali Desert. The other employee's man said he heard that Dali Desert is very dangerous because a lot of people died there, and no one dares to go there anymore, and the military has been strict with border control. So anyone wishing to enter the Dali Desert will need to register for a special pass. Gao Peng walked away while thinking that things are a lot more complicated than the military had let on. Gao Peng was outside the travel agency thinking that it looks like entering the Dali Desert via official means isn't reliable, and he has to see for himself if he wants the truth. Also, he shouldn't expose his trump card to the military. Then Gao Peng looked around him while thinking he needs to think of another way to get into Dali Desert. Then Gao Peng continued to look around because he knew that there were brokers around there. Then he saw the man with green hair looking around too. Gao Peng called the man to come to him. Then the man opened the door while telling Gao Peng to go inside because they need to talk secretly. When they were inside, Gao Peng opened his bag full of money while telling the man that he had enough money and he can give him a deposit. Then Gao Peng said he want to go to the Dali Desert today. Then he asks the man if the man has any groups going into the Dali Desert. The man immediately responded yes. Then the man smiled while thinking that another loaded young master who was an idiot. Then the man tells Gao Peng to follow him. Suddenly a monster was slowly approaching Gao Peng from behind. But Gao Peng noticed it and glare at the monster, which made the monster shiver in fear. The man wondered who is Gao Peng because a simple glare from Gao Peng at his familiar incites fear from the depth of his soul. The man shakingly pointed to the gate while saying their gathering is just up ahead, and he tells Gao Peng to rest for a bit because they'll depart at 10 p.m. Then the man also assured Gao Peng not to worry because they'll wait for no one. Gao Peng responded okay while knowing the man wanted to do shady business with his wussy character. The next day, inside the hotel room in the Dali Desert, Gao Peng just woke up while saying his back hurts after riding in the truck yesterday, but luckily they stopped to kill a few wolf-type monsters on the way so he could get down and stretch for a bit. Then Gao Peng stand up and look at his room window while saying it felt like he was being pinned on his bed for the whole night, and the more he sleep, the more tired he was. From his window, Gao Peng saw that the Dali Desert streets are quite lively. Gao Peng said that Dali Desert Street is the last outpost before entering the Dali Desert, and he heard that there are a lot of specialty materials sold there. Gao Peng also saw some materials like exploding cactus. Its description said it can be applied directly to any wound to achieve a cauterization effect, and it can also be used as a medicinal ingredient. Normal sand-type monster core crystal. Its description said a core crystal formed from the residual energy inside a sand-type monster's body and can be used on a familiar to increase its elemental power. It's also most effective when it is used on a sand-type monster. And the other material name is Sand Soul Stone. Its description said a stone that's saturated with sand-type and earth-type elemental energy can be used. Gao Peng said as he expected those three materials are the most sold items there. A few moments later, Gao Peng was sitting in the restaurant just finished ordering. On the other table, the man said the military is preparing to lock down the entire Dali Desert because lately, they're forbidding people from Chang'an from entering. The other man angrily said the military is just trying to hog the good stuff for themselves. The girl hushes her friends and tells them to watch their words. On the other hand, Gao Peng, who heard everything, thinks the Chang'an military still holds a lot of influence. At least most people don't dare to badmouth the military in public. Then the waiter gives Gao Peng drinks, while Gao Peng thinks for the military locking down the Dali Desert and forbidding anyone from entering means something big is going to happen. So Gao Peng thinks he should hurry over once he finishes his breakfast. An hour later, in the Dali Desert, Dummy was looking at his feet confused because his feet sank on the sand while Da Zai laughing and teasing Dummy that Dummy is so heavy that his feet already sinking in the sand. Then Da Zai runs around the sand happily while telling Dummy to look at him because he can run around all he wants, which made Dummy angry and tried to run in the sand while shouting that the sand can't stop him. But in the end, sad Dummy sunk his half body into the sand. Silly and Flamey grab Dummy's shoulder to lift up while Flamey tells Dazai to stop bullying Dummy and help them, to which Dazai immediately helps to lift Dummy. Gao Peng, who's looking at his familiar, said the desert is different than land and his familiars may not be used to it. Then Dummy looks at Gao Peng and tells Gao Peng that the sand there is very angry, which made Gao Peng ask what Dummy was talking about. Dummy responded that when a Lord tier monster has been in a place long enough, its presence has an effect on the environment around it, including the air. Gao Peng realized that the water in White Dragon's Lake is especially cool and clean. So it's because of White presence, and using the same logic, the monster in the depth of the desert should be an ill-tempered entity. Although the sand element had always been active, it never gave off an angry feeling. Suddenly Flamey noticed something and tells Gao Peng that someone's fighting monsters up ahead. Then Gao Peng tells Flamey to lead the way, and he said they'll observe the situation on higher ground. From the higher ground, Gao Peng saw people with their familiars fighting monsters. Gao Peng said, judging from the people's attires, the people don't look like people from the military, but the team leader isn't too bad because the leader immediately changed to a defensive formation when the battle isn't in their favor. The people manage to hold out by relying on their more defensive familiars that have thick skin and muscle. However, Gao Peng saw the monsters increasing in numbers and he knows that at that rate the people will die. Suddenly Gao Peng was shocked to see one of the people familiar attack one of the monsters. When the monster got hit, its crystal core is thrown on the ground. The monster's name is Sand Monster. It was level 12 in a mortally injured and unconscious state. Its attribute is sand and its weaknesses are 1. Ice, 2. The sand core crystal in its body can be destroyed, and 3. Chopping off any part of its body will considerably reduce its overall power. Also, the sand monster needs a lot of time to heal itself, which is done by absorbing sand from its surroundings. Gao Peng said the heart-like object in the ground must be the sand monster's core crystal, and a sand monster could be rendered unconscious if one forcibly removed its core crystal from its body. Then Gao Peng looked at Dummy while saying if a sand core crystal is the same as a sand monster's heart, then there's an experiment they can do. Then Gao Peng ordered Dummy, to which Dummy understands and holds his heart to use his blood heart thread skill. On the other hand, the man whispered to his boss that the sand monsters are acting a bit weird, and when the man looked at the sand monsters it moving uncontrollably. Then the sand monster exploded, dropping its core crystals in the sand, which made the people wonder what was going on and why the sand monsters explode. On the other hand, Gao Peng said the results are disappointing and the sand monsters look like they received a heavy attack, but their sand core crystals didn't sustain much damage. Gao Peng also said it would have been nice to have an ice-type familiar because according to his previous experiments, sand monsters are generally resistant to electric type and fire attacks, excluding Dazai and Flamey, and he is only left with Dummy, but Dummy's mobility is restricted by the desert environment, so Dummy won't have higher ground. Then Gao Peng disappointedly said having an elemental disadvantage sucks and if he was to help the military, it would be an extremely tough battle. Then Gao Peng saw a lot of military trucks and said the military has been hurriedly evacuating nearby crowds for the past few days, and it looks like they can't stall the situation any longer. Then Gao Peng sees the Lord Tier monster walking to the militaries. Gao Peng said that the main character arrives. The Lord Tier monster's name is Desert Ruler. It was level 44 and slightly injured, but angry status. In the Desert Ruler's neck is the monster named King Sandworm. It was level 41 in healthy status, but alert. Gao Peng saw the tree nearby with an aura. Gao Peng wonders if the aura is the Desert Ruler's Lord Tier aura. Then a few seconds later the healthy tree soil is gradually turning into sand. Gao Peng thinks the desert already gives the Desert Ruler the upper hand, but it can still expand its territory further and that is really tough. On the other hand, the military attacked the Desert Ruler using a missile, but before it landed on the Desert Ruler, it used its power to control the missile. Then it closed its hand, which made the missile explodes in the air. Then the Desert Ruler summoned its sand monster army. The chief military ordered his comrade to open fire and don't let the sand monsters advance. The militaries attack the Desert Ruler using their guns, but the Desert Ruler just shields itself. On the other hand, Gao Peng is covering his ears while saying that is the first time he heard many gunshots nearby, and he thinks having good hearing is a kind of torture. Then he notices that the sandstorm from the attack is subsiding. Then the angry Desert Ruler holds his weapon while saying, "Humans must die." Then it jumped toward the military to attack, but something flushed the light on the Desert Ruler, which made the Desert Ruler blind for a moment, and the military man shouted to his comrades to hold the line because the Golden Deity arrived. Then the Golden Deity attacked the Desert Ruler in the shoulder, which made its shoulder have a hole. The Desert Ruler angrily looks at the Golden Deity, then it holds and ready its spear. Then throw it toward the Golden Deity. Fortunately, the Golden Deity avoided it and fly toward the Desert Ruler back to attack. The military happily said even the Lord Tier monster can't hold out for long after sustaining such a heavy injury, but the military has taken back to see that the Desert Ruler's wounds had healed. Gao Peng wonders if the Desert Ruler can freely disperse any part of his body into a cloud of sand to avoid the enemy's attack. Gao Peng thinks in order for that tactic to work, the Golden Deity would need to possess a quick reaction speed and grasp the exact timing, and if its reaction had been too slow, the hit would have landed. Also, if the Golden Deity had been too soon, its opponent would have been able to pull back and come at it from another angle. The Golden Deity monster's name is Zhengjin Celestial Eagle. It was level 47 in healthy and calm status. Its grade is perfect, its attribute is gold, and its abilities are Hard Feathers level 3, Sharp Feathers level 3, and Elemental Gold Mastery level 4. The Golden Deity's special characteristic is Zhengjin Divine Feather. Its feathers have been continuously tempered and strengthened, which gives a huge boost to its attack and defense. Effect 1. Passive effects are Feather Hardness +1 and Feather Sharpness +1. Effect 2, passive effect said it has a certain level of resistance against other elemental attacks, which made Gao Peng said as he expected of the golden deity, its stats are really nice. However, Gao Peng, who currently looking at the golden deity attacking the desert ruler, said the golden deity is up against the desert ruler who has the upper hand, and if the Chang'an military doesn't have a backup plan, it'll be hard to determine the winner of the battle between the golden deity and desert ruler. The desert ruler uses his hands to jump fast behind the golden deity's back, which made the golden deity shocked and confused. Then the golden deity immediately uses a barrier to protect itself, but the desert ruler punched and broke the barrier of the golden deity, which made the golden deity fall on the sand. Then Gao Peng said in horror that the desert ruler is fierce because it broke through a Lord Tier's defensive barrier with only one blow. On the other hand, one military man tells the commander that the golden deity is at a standstill with the desert ruler. Then the man asks if they should continue firing the missiles. The commander responded no and said if it was any other familiar, accidentally injuring it wouldn't be a problem. Even if it's a commander tier familiar that's at its peak, as long as it can bring them victory, sacrificing it wouldn't be an issue. But the problem is that it was the golden deity, and it's not only Chang'an military's strongest Lord Tier, but it also acts as Chang'an's symbol of hope. Then commander orders the military man to tell the soldiers to get ready, and as soon as the golden deity pulls out, they should fire the missiles immediately, to which the man immediately understood and agreed. Suddenly the sand shook, which made one of the men ask what was happening and if there was an earthquake. Then the King Sandworm come out under the sand and attacked the military tank. Then more man-eating earthworms come out underground and attacked the military tanks, which made the commander shouted that their formation has been disrupted, and he ordered to scatter all familiars to move in. Then the roosters jump in and bite the man-eating earthworms. On the other hand, Flamey asked Gao Peng if they should help the militaries. Gao Peng responded not yet, and he said they won't be of any help if they go down immediately. Then Gao Peng looked down while saying if the military wanted to take on the Dali Desert with only that much firepower, the military would be too naive, and he thinks the military wouldn't send an idiot to command such a battle, so he knows that the military must have an ace up their sleeves. Moreover, Gao Peng notices the black-robed figure behind the commander's back while thinking that the black-robed figure's height, it's definitely not human. Gao Peng angrily said he can't see the black-robed stats because of how it dressed. On the other hand, the desert ruler grabs the golden deity by its neck. Fortunately, the golden deity uses its power to attack the desert ruler's arm, which made its arm destroy. The desert ruler looks at the golden deity in anger, while Gao Peng thinking that the desert ruler is evidently in its element, and as long as its sand core isn't damaged, it can heal itself, so its combat power isn't affected. Then Gao Peng saw that the desert ruler absorbed the sand monsters, which made Gao Peng wonder if it could be that the desert ruler has some kind of secret move. After the desert ruler absorbed the sand monsters, it stand up and its appearance changes, then angrily grabs the injured golden deity, which made Gao Peng tell his familiar to be prepared to interfere because the golden deity is a Chang'an guardian deity, so it mustn't die there. Suddenly Gao Peng was shocked to see the statue in black robe running toward the desert ruler. The monster's name is a terracotta soldier named Meng Tian. Meng Tian was a military general of the Qin dynasty who fought against the Xingnu and was involved in the construction of the Great Wall of China. It was level 44 in epic grade, and its attributes are corpse and dark. Its abilities are Divine Power level 2 and Reinforced Armor level 4. Meng Tian's special characteristic is Sarcophagus. Originally a receptacle containing a human corpse, it mysteriously evolved into a monster. Effect 1. Passive effect said its armor is reinforced by the fumes released from the decomposing corpse inside its body. Effect 2. Active effect said it absorbs all the fumes inside its body to give itself a temporary buff. There are no negative side effects to that, however, the effect only lasts for a short while. Also, the terracotta soldier's description said the body inside it used to belong to a distinguished human general who was unfortunately poisoned and stuffed inside a terracotta soldier, where its soul has remained ever since. Gao Peng realizes that the black-robed figure was a terracotta soldier and that the gray smoke must be the fumes that can temporarily boost its strength. On the other hand, the terracotta soldier was running toward the desert ruler who was currently in shock. The desert ruler attacked the sand to make a wave hands toward the terracotta soldier, but the terracotta soldier jumped toward the hand waves and cut the hand wave one by one while running toward the desert ruler. On the other hand, the desert ruler grabs the head of the golden deity, but the golden deity uses its power to shine bright, which made the desert ruler blind for a moment. Then the desert ruler notices the terracotta soldier launching an attack behind its back. The desert ruler got distracted, which made the golden deity escape and fly away. The terracotta soldier saw the golden deity escape and smile. Then it stopped its attack and run away to the desert ruler, which made the desert ruler confused. The commander thinks the plan to distract the desert ruler to create an opportunity for the golden deity in order to escape worked well, and he didn't expect a monster to possess such battle instincts. The commander also thinks that the golden deity almost lost, so he needs to force to use his trump card. The commander looks at the soldiers while thinking it was a shame that the desert ruler isn't willing to leave the desert, and they're unable to defeat it there. Also, he thinks if they continue on like that they'll lose. Then the commander tells his soldiers that they'll retreat. Then one of the soldiers approached the commander while holding a gadget and tells that he have a video call from the general. The commander orders the man to answer the call. The commander salutes the general and tells the general that due to lack of firepower. But before the commander finishes his words, the general said the commander his name, and angrily tells Xiao Yang that his grandson was his only family, and is already 66 years old, so he won't have time to wait for another opportunity to come by. And the general said his only wish is to send the desert ruler to hell, no matter the cost. Then the general asked Xiao Yang if he understand what he mean, which made Xiao Yang shocked. Then Xiao Yang angrily responded that he understand. On the other hand, Gao Peng tells his familiars that they should go because the military has retreated and the desert ruler has gone back to the depths of the desert, so they shouldn't pick a fight with the desert right now and wait until they have an ice-type Lord tier familiar. Suddenly Gao Peng feels something and wonder why he feels a sudden chill down his spine and if it was the feeling of danger. Then Dummy pushed Gao Peng to the side, which made Gao Peng ask Dummy what is it. Gao Peng saw something in the sky falling down to the sand, which made Gao Peng, who is currently protected by Dummy, ask what is that thing in the sky. The thing in the sky hit the sand and explodes, which made Gao Peng and Silly shock. Silly said it was a big mushroom, and Gao Peng realizes that the military used a nuclear bomb. Silly passed out while Gao Peng said they were lucky that they kept a safe distance, and he said, as saying goes, they'll be bound for good fortune after surviving a great disaster. Then Gao Peng asks his familiar how they feel because the radiation and blast wave of the explosion has been transferred to their bodies. Then he asks his familiar again if they can feel the radiation. Dummy, Dazai, and Flamey shake their heads and responded that they're okay. Gao Peng said luckily, the damage was divided equally between his 3 Lord tiers and radiation has no effect on high-level monsters. Then Gao Peng looked at the scene and said the military is way too bold. Then he tells his familiar that they should go and check on the desert ruler. A few moments later, in the depths of the Dali Desert, Gao Peng and his familiars were at the scene where the nuclear bomb exploded. Gao Peng said the nuclear bomb won't necessarily kill a Lord tier monster, and only if it was at the center of the nuclear explosion would it evaporate instantly. Gao Peng noticed that nothing there was left, so they don't know if the desert ruler survived or not. Then Gao Peng and Silly hold something like a crystal in the sand, which made Gao Peng say that it was still warm and it felt like glass. Suddenly Mouse tells Gao Peng that there's a treasure. Gao Peng glares at Mouse and tells it that everything is a treasure to him. Gao Peng also tells Mouse that yesterday they shoveled sand for hours just for a normal grade core crystal. But Mouse tells Gao Peng it was a real treasure and he should trust him. Gao Peng responded that he'll trust him one more time. Then he ordered his familiar to dig. A few hours later, Gao Peng and his familiar are still digging, when Gao Peng tells Mouse that they've already dug so deep. Then Gao Peng asked Mouse if it was sure that the treasure is down there. Mouse, who currently shaking its tail, responded that they are almost there and told Gao Peng to continue digging. Suddenly, Dummy hit something under the sand, then it looked down confused because it saw something. Gao Peng notices Dummy and asks Dummy if he finds something. Dummy grabbed that thing he saw, but Dummy's hand got burned. Gao Peng thinks even a nuclear bomb can't hurt Dummy, but that weird looking bone can. Then Gao Peng orders Silly to bring out his protective gear because he needs to take care of the weird bone first. A minute later, Gao Peng put the unknown bone on the table, saying that the weird bone is the first time he had seen garbled characters since he awoke his stat reading ability, and he knows that the bone isn't ordinary. Gao Peng wonder if that means his ability can still be improved. Then Gao Peng happily looks at Mouse, who is currently proud of itself while sitting in Dazai head. Gao Peng tells Mouse that he has achieved something great this time. Then Gao Peng said since it's bone, does that mean it can be placed on Dummy? Then confused Dummy lifts up the bone while Gao Peng tells Dummy to place the bone on his chest and treat the bone like a breastplate. Dummy put the bone in his chest, but Dummy released a smoke which made Gao Peng run toward Dummy worried while asking Dummy if he's okay. Gao Peng suddenly entered somewhere and was shocked to feel something behind him. When he looked back, he saw a starry sky and a giant monster, which made Gao Peng wonder if what he's seeing is an illusion. Then the bone dropped on the sand, which made Gao Peng back to reality. Then he asks Dummy, who's still releasing smoke, if he feels pain anywhere. Dummy responded no. Then Gao Peng noticed a pattern in Dummy's hand, which made Gao Peng realize that the pattern is the same as one of the patterns on the bone. Gao Peng also saw that Dummy obtained a new skill named Dark Flame Mastery Level 2, which made Gao Peng think Dummy received a new skill, but the flame doesn't seem capable of burning anything, since Dummy's robe is covered in flames yet it isn't burnt. Gao Peng said the bone is interesting, then he ordered Dummy to take the bone with him because they were going back. The next day night, in Chang'an City, one of the soldiers tells the commander that the radar shows an unknown entity is currently heading toward Chang'an City. The soldier head orders the soldiers to hurry to gather the familiars because they need to stop the unknown entity. He also orders the soldiers to grab their weapons and head to the sentry towers to prepare for the battle. At the sentry tower, the soldiers and familiars were preparing and looking at the monster heading toward them. One of the soldiers shouted that the monster is picking up speed. Then they saw a crystal glass monster which made them wonder what kind of monster is it. The monster uses its power and hit the tower wall. Meanwhile, inside the hotel room, Gao Peng was reading the text that said the state of emergency, which made Gao Peng said the alert level isn't low, so he wondered if something happened. Then someone knocked on his room door. Gao Peng opens the door, then the soldier asks if is Gao Peng. Then the man said Chang'an City has initiated a level 5 alert, and all available monster trainers are to accept enlistment from the government without conditions. Gao Peng responded that it was not a problem and that he'll be there after he grabs something. To which the soldiers salute to him. Gao Peng closed his door while saying the last time he heard of a level 5 alert was when White was promoting and he thinks something really big has happened. A few moments later, Gao Peng arrived on top of Chang'an Base City's eastern city wall. Gao Peng was shocked to see a monster named Nuclear Ruler, a radiation variant. It was level 46 in epic grade, and its attribute is Earth. Its abilities are Hardened Body level 3, Elemental Resistance level 3, and Gravitational Mastery level 4. Its special characteristic is Nuclear Core. In order to survive the nuclear radiation, its Sand Core developed the ability to absorb nuclear radiation. Effect 1, Passive effect said it can strengthen itself using nuclear radiation. Effect 2, Active effect said it can tap into the nuclear energy contained within its core in order to give itself a temporary power boost. The Nuclear Ruler's weakness is its hard body is now as brittle glass, and its description said after being exposed to extreme heat and terrifying levels of radiation, the Desert Ruler has mutated into the Nuclear Ruler. Gao Peng thinks the Desert Ruler has undergone mutation due to the radiation and its defense and elemental resistance seems to have increased, but its healing speed might not be stronger than before its mutation. Gao Peng knows that the nuclear core is uncommon compared to a sand core, so he's not sure if the mutation is a good or bad thing. Suddenly, Gao Peng saw the golden deity flying in the sky in a healthy condition but angry. Gao Peng was shocked to see that the golden deity has already recovered. Then the golden deity attacked the nuclear ruler using its power, which made Gao Peng say the golden deity unleashed a powerful skill right from the start. But the nuclear ruler just stands still in shock. After the attack, Gao Peng saw the nuclear ruler in the smoke still in the place. Then the nuclear ruler looks at the golden deity in the sky, but Gao Peng noticed that the golden deity powerful attack only left a small scratch on the nuclear ruler. Then Gao Peng ordered Dummy to go help the golden deity to hold the nuclear ruler, but he tells Dummy not to fight the nuclear head-on like an idiot, to which Dummy agreed. While Gao Peng thought Dummy's mobility was restricted in the desert, but that isn't the case there. Then Dummy jumped off the tower and landed in front of the nuclear ruler, who was in shock. The nuclear ruler immediately uses its power to attack Dummy, but Dummy uses his arm with a pattern to shield himself. Then Dummy uses its summoning skill to summons the ghouls under the sand. Then many ghouls' hands come out under the sand, which made the nuclear ruler shocked. Dummy also summoned the Elder King Centipede that was slain by the golden deity 6 months ago, which made the militaries fearfully shout that the Dummy summoned a wave of the undead. The King Centipede ghoul and the other monsters' ghouls bowed to Dummy, which made the nuclear ruler shocked. On the other hand, the colonel who's looking at the situation said that the nuclear ruler is at a standstill with Gao Peng's familiar, and he also said that is their chance. Then the colonel orders the golden deity to use its wing slash to cut off the nuclear head. The golden deity ready itself to use the wing slash, which made it released a bright light, and the nuclear ruler noticed it. The nuclear ruler tried to escape, but Gao Peng shouted at Dummy to stop it from running and tells Dummy not to let the nuclear ruler escape. To which Dummy heard, and ordered his ghouls to block the nuclear ruler's way, which his ghouls immediately did. Then the golden deity attacks the nuclear ruler using its wing slash. Unfortunately, the nuclear ruler blocks the wing slash using its arm, which made its arm break. The nuclear ruler looked at his broken arm angrily. Then it tried to launch an attack on the golden deity, but the King Centipede ghoul grabbed its tail in time and pulled it back. But the nuclear ruler punched the King Centipede skeleton's skull with one hit. Gao Peng orders Flamey to support Dummy from above, to which Flamey immediately attacks the nuclear ruler using fire from above. But the nuclear ruler grabs Flamey using its gravity manipulation skill, which made Gao Peng think that before, the desert ruler got the upper hand because it could continuously generate due to its environment, and now the nuclear ruler is good at both offense and defense. However, he knows that if they're talking about melee combat, no one's better than Dummy. Dummy saw the nuclear ruler holding Flamey and angrily ran toward it. Then Dummy punched the nuclear ruler from behind, which made Flamey free from its gravity manipulation. The nuclear ruler launched a punch toward Dummy, and Dummy launched a punch toward the nuclear ruler at the same time. But Dummy ducked to avoid the nuclear ruler's punch and punched the nuclear ruler's body, which made it fly and landed on the sand with a broken body. Then the Golden Deity and Flamey used the opportunity to attack the nuclear ruler on the sand using their wing slash and fire, which made the nuclear ruler die. Gao Peng tells Dazai that they should go because they have to meet with the military. Gao Peng faced the military and said the condition they agreed upon was that he'll have first rights of selection regarding the spoils of war. Then Gao Peng said he has 3 Lord tier familiars while the military only has 1, and that's a 3-to-1 ratio, so he'll take 75%, and the military has 25%, and that is 1 arm and leg. Then Gao Peng asked the military what they think. The military man responded that Gao Peng is certainly the MVP of the battle, but the Chang'an military has the most complete laboratory and 5 advanced monster breeders. The man also said the corpse of the nuclear ruler will yield better result if it was with them. But the man cleared that the Southern Sky Group can research the nuclear ruler together with them. Gao Peng looked at the dead nuclear ruler lying in the sand while thinking that ever since the cataclysm, he felt as though human technology had hit a dead end. However, the presence of the nuclear ruler has given the conservatives hope. Although he knows about the nuclear ruler's lack of potential, it would be bothersome to have people missing it every day if he took it back with him. Then Gao Peng tells the military that he had 2 requests, and if the military agreed, they can take the Lord tier corpse back with them as a whole. Then Gao Peng said his one request is he wants the nuclear ruler's core crystal, and the other one. He said he heard that the military had 2 flesh-enhancing tablets in their possession, so he wants 1. The military man responded that the core crystal alone holds half the value of the entire monster. The man also said the flesh-enhancing tablet is very valuable as well because it can enhance a monster's flesh, and it belongs to a highly ranked lab manager in the military. Gao Peng said he only want 1, so they'll still have another 1 with them. Gao Peng also said they can let the general search the corpse as compensation. The man tells his comrade that Gao Peng probably wasn't interested in the corpse of the nuclear ruler from the start and it was bait to reel them in. His comrade responded that there was no other way, and apart from research, the general specified that they want to see the corpse of the nuclear ruler, so they should just agree to Gao Peng requests. The next day, in Gao Peng's laboratory, the tube opened releasing a lot of smoke. Then Goldie comes out of it while saying the feeling he felt is the feeling of an energized body. Then Goldie shouts that he has become stronger and there are fewer people in their world who can steal his money, while Goldie punching the air. Then Goldie kicks the door while saying that his attack is called a cosmic explosion, and it also shouted that he's invincible now, which made Gao Peng and Tang Tang look at Goldie in shock. Goldie was excited because it's now Lord tier, but extremely bloated. Gao Peng angrily asks Goldie what is he doing, and he told Goldie that if he has nothing to do he should train. Gao Peng also tells Goldie that he has to pay for the door he kicks, which made Goldie roll on the ground while saying Gao Peng is bad because he has become stronger, but Gao Peng still stealing his money. Tang Tang tells Gao Peng that his familiars are really interesting, which just made Gao Peng shyly laugh. Then Gao Peng told her that the military has sent over the flesh-enhancing tablets, so they can start with the experiment. Tang Tang looks at her blood eye and asks Gao Peng to take care of it because the blood eye bearded vulture's evolution path is tricky, and it grows stronger by undergoing heavy strength training. She also said that the monster breeders who studied her blood eye before all said that it was already a miracle that it is as strong as it is now. Gao Peng held her shoulder while telling her not to worry because he believed that the best evolution path it can take and that it'll definitely succeed. Then Gao Peng asks Blood Eye if he's ready. Then Gao Peng started to pour the mixture in the rock with help of Silly. After a minute he made a big green rock. Then Gao Peng gives the big green rock to Blood Eye while telling Blood Eye to swallow it, which made Blood Eye confused. But still, the Blood Eye swallowed the rock. After it swallowed the big green rock, Blood Eyes collapsed on the ground. Then its eyes turns red. Then Gao Peng snaps his finger and Dummy delivers the big meat to Gao Peng. Gao Peng tells Blood Eye to eat the raw meat that's prepared especially for him, to which Blood Eye immediately followed and eats the meat. After it finishes his raw meat, Blood Eye released a red aura and successfully evolved. Blood Eye's new monster's name is Blood Eye Bearded Vulture. It's level 43 in excellent grade, and its attribute is Wind. Its skills are Gale Force level 3 and Savage Claw level 1. Its monster characteristic is a blood-enhancing stomach. After evolving, its stomach will be able to convert any material into the nutrients it needs to evolve, but the side effects include a state of permanent and insatiable hunger. Effect 1. Passive effect said the blood-enhancing stomach will absorb and digest anything inside it no matter dead or alive, and convert it into valuable nutrients for the host to evolve. Also, its weaknesses are 1. Electric type, 2. Fire type, and 3. Gold type. Gao Peng explained that before, the blood-eye bearded vulture had already reached its limit, but now that it has evolved, for a creature who trains as hard as it, it'll only continue to grow and become stronger without limits. Tang Tang happily said her soul strength has increased, which means that her blood-eye evolved successfully. Gao Peng tells her that the blood-eye beard only needs to continuously swallow fresh meat to enhance its strength, and the rest is up to how hardworking it is. Gao Peng also said he also has an idea of how to promote blood-eye grade, but she needs to search for the materials. Tang Tang thanked Gao Peng and said she was fine for its excellent grade for now, and as long as there's no limit to her blood-eye growth, it should evolve just fine. Suddenly Gao Peng digital gadget rang. Gao Peng answer it. Then Wang Yi tells Gao Peng that the Yongcheng Broadcasting Station is asking him to attend one of their programs as a guest of honor. Gao Peng responded that he was not interested, and he tells Wang Yi that he told him to reject those kinds of invitations. But Wang tells Gao Peng that the Yongcheng Broadcasting Station is willing to give him a thunder shell as a reward, which made Gao Peng change his mind and ask Wang Yi when the program started. Wang Yi responded that they'll start recording at Yongcheng next Monday. Gao Peng remembers that a thunder shell is one of the materials needed for evolving Thunder God, and the materials needed to evolve Lord Tier and King Tier familiars are becoming rarer. So he decided to go because he don't want to waste the chance. Then Gao Peng said if the level of familiars keeps increasing, he'll need to head into unexplored forbidden zones on Earth to gather materials of higher grades, or perhaps head to other worlds through spatial rifts. The next Monday, in Yongcheng Airport, Gao Peng and his familiar were welcomed by a man. The man said he has heard a lot about him being the Huaxia region's genius. Then the man shakes Gao Peng hands while introducing himself as Wang Muzi, the assistant director of the program An Eye for Talent, and he tells Gao Peng that he can call him Old Wang, which made Gao Peng awkwardly tell Wang that he's too humble. Wang tells Gao Peng that they should talk in the car. Inside the car, Wang said he'll introduce their program to Gao Peng, and he also said that they have gathered a lot of materials and monsters from the wild, and most of the materials they have are unfamiliar to the public. There are also some species that are completely new and have never been discovered by anyone before. Then Wang tells Gao Peng that he has sent him an information package, so he may take a look at it. Gao Peng opened his digital gadget and saw some materials, which made Gao Peng prove that there are indeed a lot of rare materials, and he know that Wang team has put a lot of effort into it. While Wang says their selling point for the program is that they'll be identifying the attributes and characteristics of the materials and monsters. Suddenly Gao Peng noticed a flower named Dalingshan Dandelion on his monitor. Gao Peng also saw the system that said the flower monster's name is Yin Yang Calendula. It was level 3 in excellent grade, and its attributes are light and dark. Its state is healthy, but currently trembling, and its introduction said it's a brave and fearless plant-type monster that likes to explore, and it has the ability to heal and weaken the abilities of other monsters. As it's still at a low level right now, it can only use the seeds on its head to make soup, and that may be a good choice for it to make right now. Gao Peng thinks the flower skills to heal and weaken is an uncommon combo. Then Gao Peng asks Wang if those monsters and materials belong to his team because he really likes the Dalingshan Dandelion. Then Gao Peng asks Wang how much the price of Dalingshan Dandelion. Wang tells Gao Peng no problem and that he'll inform the main director and producer and have the Dalingshan Dandelion sent to his room that night. As for the payment, there's no need for him to pay such a small amount. Wang also thinks normally he wouldn't have the chance to interact with someone of Gao Peng's stature, but now that he has the chance, he won't let go of it so easily. Gao Peng thanked Wang and Wang happily responded no problem while they headed to the program station. The night comes in Yongcheng Jai family villa. Gao Peng was looking at the Dalingshan Dandelion while saying that Wang is quite efficient because he really sent the Dalingshan Dandelion over. Then Gao Peng lifts up the flower and blows it. Gao Peng look at the flower while saying that it is quite the actor, and no wonder they mistook it for a normal plant instead of a plant-type monster, which made the flower worried for itself. Then Gao Peng snaps his finger while ordering Silly to give him an elite-grade light-type monster's core crystal, to which Silly immediately did. Then Gao Peng asked the flower if it want the core crystal, which made the flower nod its head continuously. Then Gao Peng said fine and give the core crystal to the happy flower while thinking that it was an easy creature to please. Then Gao Peng ordered Flamey to peck his finger for him, which Flamey immediately did. Then Gao Peng put his finger with blood onto confused flower head while thinking that needles can't prick his skin now because his skin is so thick that it can be compared to rhinos. The contract with the flower and Gao Peng was easily successful. Then the flower called Gao Peng in a confused tone because Gao Peng was staring at it while thinking that compared to Silly's lackluster healing ability, the Yin Yang Calendula seems to be much more professional. Gao Peng decided to name the flower Flowery since most of his familiars' names end in Y. Then Gao Peng gives Flowery to Dummy while telling Dummy that he'll leave protecting Flowery to him. Then Flowery stands to Dummy's head happily, which made Dummy sad. and Gao Peng happily said it's not bad because it looks quite harmonious. Meanwhile, somewhere in the ocean, the wave was big and something sticky was sticking to the rocks beside the ocean. Inside the sticky things were eggs slowly opening. Then something screamed loud from somewhere in the ocean. Meanwhile, in the villa, Gao Peng was lying on the sofa board while thinking that some of the material's information is wrong, and the script sounds unnatural. Then Gao Peng convinces himself that for the sake of the Thunder Shell and Yin Yang Calendula, he'll endure it. Then Wang arrived and apologized to Gao Peng and explained that the main director is a pampered rich kid who transferred over to their division, so all the grunt work is dumped onto his shoulder. Gao Peng responded it was okay because he can see that he's very busy. Then Gao Peng tells Wang to go ahead. Wang happily thanked Gao Peng for his understanding. Then Gao Peng checks his cell phone and saw many missed calls from his grandfather, which made him wonders if something happens to his grandfather, and he decided to call his grandfather back. Gao Peng called his grandfather, then he asked his grandfather if isn't having a quarterly meeting today and why did he call him. Jai Huan asks Gao Peng if he has finished shooting the program. But before Gao Peng can answer, Jai Huan said the Southern Sky Group's branch in Yongcheng has been attacked by a wave of monsters, and their communications are down. Then Jai Huan ordered Gao Peng to go down to their group branch in Yongcheng first and stabilize the situation. Gao Peng tells his grandfather not to worry because he'll have the situation there all taken care of before he gets there. Then Gao Peng looked at the clock while thinking that the rest of the missed calls are probably about the monster wave, and the wave must have been going on for over 2 hours. Gao Peng knows that their branch in Yongcheng isn't that strong, so the fact that they could hold on for a long means that the strongest monster must only be Lord Tier. But he wonders why isn't the Yongcheng military doing anything, because the military should have been on top of the situation. Unless it isn't just the Southern Skies branch that has been struck by a monster wave, leaving the military with their hands full. Meanwhile, in Yongcheng's southeast region, Yongcheng's new area, Southern Sky Group's Yongcheng branch, were attacked by many small monsters. Then one of the monsters scream and look at the man who was shouting to their people not to be afraid because the backup will be there soon. Then he orders his team to stand their ground because their family and friends are inside the factories behind them, so they must not falter. Suddenly something come out of the smoke and attacked the man above, which made the man shocked. Fortunately, something shields the man. When the man looked back, he saw the tree tails and thanked it for saving him. The man again tells his people to hold one just for another 10 minutes, which made the people say they'd already been waiting for 2 hours, and the other people angrily ask when is the backup going to come. The man convinces the people to believe in him, but before the man can finish his words, he notices a black smoke coming toward them, and he saw many tiny kappas inside the black smoke, but the tiny kappa's target is the three tails. The tiny kappas bite the three tails, then the three tails use it fire to burn the tiny kappas. Suddenly the black smoke landed on their place, and inside the black smoke were 4 armed kappas. Then the kappas punched the three tail continuously. Then the man called his three tails while the other people behind him were running away while saying that the kappas are too strong. One of the kappas happily looks at the running people, and it chases the people. Suddenly something hit the kappa's head, then Goldie just looked at the dead kappa while Gao Peng disappointedly looked at the people running below while in the sky riding Flamey. Then Gao Peng called the people useless and he said he won't acknowledge them as his employees if word gets out about their cowardice. Then Gao Peng jumps off at Flamey while saying he just referring to those who were slacking and he doesn't expect them to risk their lives for the company, but they should at least do their part since they offer the highest salary in the industry. Gao Peng also said not to mention the familiars they gave them. Also geographical advantage, a stronghold, several hundred elite tier familiars, dozen of commander tier familiars, and equipped with guns, grenades, and the very best electronic gadgets. Then he asked the people why they couldn't hold down a fort like that, which made the people stunned in fear. Gao Peng also said he initially thought that there were lord tier monsters in the horde, but it turns out that there's only a group of normal grade elites and commander tier. Then Gao Peng angrily stared at his people while saying there are a lot among them who don't use their brains. Then Gao Peng ordered Dummy and Dazai to take care of the monsters on the other gates, and Goldie and he will take it from here. Then Goldie jumped off the terrace and landed on the ground, making the kappas thrown away. Goldie angrily looks at the kappas and punched all the kappas, launching an attack at him. Then Goldie jumps forward to attack more of the kappas. Suddenly one of the kappas bites Goldie's shoulder, which made Goldie angry and got bigger. Then he punched the kappa into pieces. On the other hand, Gao Peng, who's watching Goldie kill all the kappas, called his grandfather to tell his grandfather that there's no need for him to come over because there is not a single lord tier monster there. And Gao Peng tells his grandfather not to worry because he'll be careful and he'll take care of the business there in his name. Meanwhile, in the west gate, the apes were shielding the gate while the people were attacking the turtles walking toward them. The man shouted that all members of the third unit replace the second unit and don't let the turtles in. The man also said the turtles' brains are nothing but mush and the turtles don't have intelligence, so there's no need to be afraid. Suddenly they saw thunder in the sky, then the thunder hit some of the turtles. Daze appeared and looked at the burned turtles on the ground while flying in the sky. The other turtles angrily look at Dazai, then attack Dazai, but Dazai uses his thunder wings skills and released a lot of electricity. Then Dazai attacked all the turtles using his electricity, which made the turtles collapse on the ground and electrocuted. The man happily said it was a Lord tier familiar from the company, and those turtles are paralyzed. Then he tells his brothers to finish all the turtles. Meanwhile, in the East Gate, the Kappas were dead on the broken ground, while Goldie was looking at the other shaking Kappas. Then Goldie just stepped on the other Kappas to kill it. On the other hand, the man who's watching Goldie said Goldie is so strong, while Gao Peng looks at the man from behind while thinking that it's obvious that those who slack off view the company's familiars as their own possessions and are unwilling to send the familiars into battle. Unfortunately, familiars and their owners are bonded by a blood contract and ownership can't be transferred. But he can't let that work ethic spread. Gao Peng said maybe he can allocate people from the security department to a familiar combat squad and hand the real battles to professionals. Gao Peng also noticed that there was something suspicious about the attack because the monsters won't suddenly attack humans for no reason, and he'll have to look into the reason behind it and where the monsters came from. Then Gao Peng ordered Captain Zhang to bring the ones who did well in the battle just now, and he asks them to follow him, to which Zhang agreed. Zhang immediately called Xiao Wang, Old Zia, and other people who fight with the monsters to come over. A few moments later, all the people who work hard to fight the monsters along with their familiars were lined up while Gao Peng told them that there are true warriors, and warriors should be rewarded for their bravery, and every scar on their bodies is a testament to such bravery. Then Gao Peng pointed to the camera while saying after the battle, they'll be rewarded and punished accordingly, but Gao Peng also said he can give some of them a second chance. Then he orders the other cowardly people to catch the rest of the Kappas alive, and every Kappa they catch is worth a point. The other man angrily said nothing in their world is more important than his own life, and quitting the job in Southern Sky Group isn't a big deal. The other man said a young master like Gao Peng only knows how to talk, and if he had Gao Peng resources, he'd definitely have a Lord tier familiar too. Suddenly, one of the men named Xiao Guo tells the two men to stop the cynical remarks, and he admits that he was afraid when facing the monster wave just now, but he doesn't wish to be a coward forever. Then he tells his beasts to come because they'll go catch some Kappas, which made the two men angry and ask if Xiao Guo was calling them cowards. But Guo just walked away to catch some Kappas while the two other men were running to catch Guo because they also want to catch some Kappas, which made the other cowards people to said that the three men were fakers and a bunch of idiots. But Gao Peng thinks that it seems like not all of their people are hopeless, and he knows everyone will make mistakes, but as long as they want to make amends, he doesn't mind giving them a chance. As for those who are stubborn and refuse to change, he wonders who's going to be the bad cop. The next day, the monsters named Coastal Algae Kappa are being held in cages. Its level is 14 and its grade is normal, and its attributes are water and dark. Its status is light injuries, leg injured, but still cautious. Its pathways for promotion to excellent grades are 1. Deep Sea Algae Kappa for Water Evolution. 2. Gloomy Algae Kappa for Gloomy Evolution. 3. Terrifying Algae Kappa for Terror Evolution. 4. Shadow Algae Kappa for Shadow Evolution, and more. Also, its description said it lives near the coast and like to drown weaker creatures in the water, then feast on their flesh. The man tells Gao Peng that the monsters that were caught are all there. Gao Peng noticed that the excellent grade evolutionary pathways and monster stats have become more detailed, so he wonders if it was because his soul strength increased. Then Gao Peng said normal people's familiars based on their looks, they won't sell for a high price since they're ugly. Then Gao Peng ordered the man to sell the dead Kappas for parts, and those that are still alive can stay, which the man immediately records. Then Gao Peng looked at the monster named Six-Legged Antlered Turtle. It was level 18 in normal grade and its attributes are earth and wood. Its status is moderate injuries and internal bleeding but indifferent, and its pathways for promoting excellent grade are 1. Greenwood Antlered Turtle for Wood Evolution, 2. Six-Legged Bullhorn Turtle for Earth Evolution, and more. Also, its description said it lives most of its life in the ocean, and every winter it will come ashore to lay its eggs. Not only do the antlers on their head help regulate body temperature and blood flow, but they also reduce swelling and ward off evil spirits. When cooked, they provide nourishment to the kidney and tonification, refreshing oneself and promoting blood circulation, and when ground and made into cream, they nourish the skin. which made Gao Peng think some of its antlers are already growing back, meaning they can be harvested. But the turtle in front of him doesn't look like a deer's antlers at all, which made Gao Peng wonder if it could be that it provides similar functions. Then Gao Peng tells the man to start raising those turtles and make sure that the turtle's antlers are harvested regularly, to which the man immediately agreed. While they walking, Gao Peng asks the man if the rewards have been sent out to the ones who participated in the monster wave. The man responded that according to his instruction, the security department has been divided into combat and reconnaissance divisions, and both are being led by personnel who made stellar contributions. The man also said the other outstanding employees have been given a raise and promotions. Then Gao Peng angrily looks back to ask the man how about Zhang Yu, Han Fu, Cheng Jian, and Lai Jiaxian. The man carefully responded that the punishment for all 4 of them have been announced to the entire company, and they were fired from the Southern Sky Group, and their familiars are being held at the underground laboratory. Gao Peng asks the man if the 4 men accept the punishment without making a scene. The man fearfully responded that Han Fu argued that according to the law, a familiar is a monster trainer's personal possession, and that the company has no right to detain it. But then Han Fu was punched in the face by Zheng Taiju, which made Gao Peng amazed. Then the man also said he heard that Zheng Taiju's childhood friend had one of their legs eaten by a kappa and is now a handicapped person, and he was Han Fu's subordinate. Gao Peng said those high-ranking officers are useless because when faced with trouble, they run away without a care about their subordinates' lives. Then Gao Peng angrily asks how dare they said that the familiars are their personal possessions. Then Gao Peng ordered the man to send those 4 men a lawyer letter and teach those illiterates that the company has the right to take back their familiars. Gao Peng also ordered the man to make those men pay the highest sum for violating the company's code of conduct. Gao Peng start walking while telling the man that those who didn't perform well in the monster wave will receive a pay cut for 3 months, while those who fought head-on and were injured on the battlefield will receive half a year's salary as compensation, and that will also be put on their personal records. Gao Peng also said as for those who lost their lives in battle, their families will be taken care of by the company and they will be provided education, food, and accommodation. The man responded he understand and thanked Gao Peng. Then Gao Peng ride Flamey and tells Flamey that they'll be going to Nan Village to find out where those monsters came from. A few hours later, Gao Peng and his familiars arrived at Nan Village. Gao Peng saw the village destroyed and said the same thing happened 4 years ago during the cataclysm, and when confronted by a more powerful presence, all life is so fragile. Suddenly Gao Peng noticed something moving inside the destroyed house. Then Gao Peng ordered Da Zai to go to the house and check it out, to which Da Zai immediately ran inside the house and caught something that was trying to escape. Then Gao Peng jumps off at Flamey while Da Zai tells Gao Peng that he caught a little shrimp. Then Da Zai lifts up to show Gao Peng the collapsed shrimp while proudly saying he caught it continuously. The shrimp monster's name is Land Kama Shrimp in multi-legged variant. It was level 8 in excellent grade and its attribute is wind. Then Gao Peng tells Da Zai that he knows he caught it in his grate, but that little fellow isn't their target, so he orders Da Zai to let it go. Then Da Zai let go of the shrimp in the ground, but it didn't move, which made Da Zai wonder why isn't it moving now when it just jumping around earlier. Gao Peng looked at the shrimp and saw the shrimp status as healthy and aggressive on the outside, but timid on the inside. Gao Peng thinks it's interesting because it knows how to play dead. Then Gao Peng turned and walked away with Da Zai while telling Da Zai to ignore the shrimp and that they should move forward, leaving the shrimp lying on the ground. When the shrimp feels that Gao Peng team's gone, it stands up and checks its surroundings, then it run fast. On the other hand, Gao Peng and his familiars were hiding behind the wall. Gao Peng asks Flamey how is it. Flamey responded he already left his scent on the shrimp. Gao Peng praised Flamey and tells it to keep an eye on the shrimp because it's normal to see shrimp-type monsters there since that village is near the sea, but for a low-level monster to be alive after a monster wave, it's not so much. Then Flamey tells Gao Peng that he thinks the shrimp wants to go underwater. Gao Peng tells Flamey to follow the shrimp. On the other hand, the shrimp swim down to the water, but it was attacked by something which made the shrimp explode, while something in other water called the shrimp idiot because it didn't even know it fell into an enemy's trap. On the other hand, Flamey tells Gao Peng that the scent that he left on the shrimp is gone. Gao Peng tells Flamey that it's alright and he thinks a commander tier monster must have picked up his scent on the shrimp's body. Gao Peng said he knows that the mastermind behind the monster wave probably isn't far away, and it is even possible that they're hiding beneath them inside the ocean. Then Gao Peng looked at the sea and said the sea is too calm. Then he ordered Flamey to fly higher, to which Flamey immediately agreed. But before they can fly higher, they have been attacked by something using the water in the ocean. Then a big monster attacked them, which made Gao Peng and Flamey shocked. but Daze angrily flies in front of Flamey to protect them and shouted. Then Daze uses his thunder wings to attack the monster. Gao Peng noticed that the monster has inner armor beneath its scales, so Daze lighting didn't affect it at all. But Daze fly toward the monster's scale and cut it using its claw. Then Daze uses its thunder wings again to attack the monster inner without its armor while angrily asking the monster how dare he try to eat Gao Peng. Then Daze angrily said he'll electrocute the monster continuously, which made Gao Peng proudly said Daze had grown because Daze slashed open the monster's inner armor before electrocuting it. Then the monster named Gloaming Oceanic Manta Ray jumps back at the ocean. It was level 46 Lord tier and excellent grade, and its attribute is water. Its abilities are Water Mastery level 3, Hardened Skin level 2, Stealth Skin level 1, and Strengthened Organs level 1. Its monster status is mild injury, but still enraged, and its description said its wingspan can reach up to 50 meters, and despite its size, it can move nimbly in the water and it can swallow its prey up with its pocket-like mouth. Daze proudly tells Gao Peng he chased the big weird fish away. Gao Peng said it was not bad and he promised to give Daze a whole box of mealworms when they get back. Gao Peng also said the ray doesn't look too strong, and it's probably not the one they're looking for. Then Gao Peng thanked Daze, who is currently so proud of himself. Then Gao Peng ordered Flamey to try attacking the ocean's surface. Then Flamey ready its fire skill and attacked the ocean surface using it while angrily saying how dare the monster to wet his feathers. Suddenly Gao Peng was shocked to see two big eyes staring at them under the water, which made Gao Peng said something was not right. Then he immediately orders Daze and Flamey to fall back. On the other hand, the big monster said Gao Peng left, but he was sure that Gao Peng will bring back more humans and that place has been compromised. Meanwhile, in the Yongcheng Military Division 3 office, the chief was sitting on his table chair while saying he's so bored, while one of the militaries said it was a good thing because that means their area is safe. The man also said Divisions 1 and 2 suffered many losses during the monster wave 2 days ago. Suddenly the alarm in their office rang, which made the chief ask the military looking at the radar why the alarm is ringing. The man responded that the radar has detected a high energy reaction under the sea and it was increasing. The chief ordered his military to send out drones to investigate, which the military immediately did. The drones see a lot of eyes under the water. The military said they have received the data and it's at least 300 square kilometers big. The man also said it was an unknown monster that is able to suppress 2 Lord tier monsters at the same time, which made the other soldier shocked and ask if it was a new massive monster wave. The chief angrily tells his soldier to not just stand in their position in order to bomb the monsters and check if they can drive some away because he needs to report the situation to the higher-ups. Outside Yongcheng City Territorial Sea, the drones attacked the monsters underwater using bombs. Then the fish smell the bombs, which made the fish shake and die. The big monster said the smell is unpleasant and some of the little ones have been scared off. The monster also said all the surrounding sea monsters have gathered and it's time for humans to feel their wrath. The other monster asks the big monster why they need to attack the humans and if it is because the fish aren't tasty enough or if there's not enough food there. The fish monster also said he hates the desiccated feel of the land. Then the angry Ray said he was bitten by an annoying centipede with wings a few days ago and he promised to devour it this time. But the other fish just made a disappointed noise. Then the big monster tells everyone to get ready because it's coming. On the other hand, Gao Peng sees so many flying type familiars in the sky, which made him say a few of the flying familiars are also Lord tiers, and he thinks the Yongcheng military is going all out this time. Then Gao Peng looked at the monsters under the water and said when a large number of sea monsters are gathered in one place, they are able to create a tsunami. Fortunately, the military upgrade the embankment, so it shouldn't be a problem. On the other hand, the general angrily shouted that they cannot let the monster wave proceed any further. Otherwise, the fortifications will be destroyed. Then he ordered that all ranged combat personnel on site attack the rear of the monster wave, artillery, and missile vehicles get ready to attack the center of the wave. Gao Peng tells his familiars that they should go fight the monster wave together with those familiars. Then he orders Daze to go with Flamey and don't leave Flamey's side. The flying familiars of the military attack the ocean using their power skills, and at the same time, the missile and tanks of the military are attacking too, which made the other sea monsters get killed. Then the sea monster uses its skills to make a big wave to attack them, which made Gao Peng shocked and think that it was a huge wave that was at least 6 meters taller than the previous one. Then the huge wave slams into the high embankment. The man who's currently running toward Gao Peng asks him if he's okay. Gao Peng responded is fine. Suddenly a big fish jumped off the water and tried to attack Gao Peng. Fortunately, Goldie arrived in time in front of Gao Peng while asking the fish how dare it lay its hands on Gao Peng and if he's invisible to him. Then Goldie said he'll teach the fish a lesson, which made Gao Peng confused about what drama Goldie watches recently. Then Goldie uses his secret power named Secret Pattern, Elemental Vacuum Domain, and punched the monster while shouting that its skill is named Invincible Duck Duck Punch, which made the monster break into pieces and made strong waves on the ocean, which made the other sea monsters thrown. Then Goldie proudly said he's indeed invincible, which made Gao Peng disappointedly said those monsters aren't even commander tier. Suddenly a big fish comes out of the ocean, then it attacks Goldie. The monster's name is Sea King Electric Eel. It was level 43 Lord tier in normal grade, with water and electric attributes. Its skills are Water Mastery level 2, Electric Mastery level 3, and Slick Skin level 1. Its condition is healthy but had chest pain and confused, and its description said it evolved from a deep-sea electric eel. It likes to live among the coral and it has a body length of about tens of meters long and can release electricity. Goldie shouted that the eel was so strong then he called Dummy a big dummy and asked Dummy to give him a hand. Dummy jumps toward Goldie while telling Goldie to don't call him a big dummy. Then Dummy stabs the eel using his sword. The eel shakes its body to throw Dummy. Fortunately, Goldie caught Dummy. Then Goldie angrily said the eel is quite good, then it attacked the eel using his explosive duck punch combo. But the eel showed its electricity, which made Goldie shocked. Then it looks at Goldie while telling Goldie not to get ahead of himself. Then the eel attacked Dummy using its electricity, but Goldie shielded itself smiling, which made the eel confused. Gao Peng, who was watching, laughed and said the electric eel probably doesn't even know why only half its body can release electricity. Then Dummy and Goldie punched the eel, which made the eel cry, while Gao Peng proudly said that although the Sea King electric eel has the upper hand at sea, when Dummy and Goldie work together, it won't even stand a chance. Suddenly Gao Peng saw the water reach his place, and he wondered why the sea level is rising. Then he saw something coming out of the seawater, then a coral slowly showed itself. When it fully showed itself, it was so big which made Gao Peng, Goldie and Dummy shocked. The monster also looks at Gao Peng angrily. The monster's name is Sea Coral King. It was level 51 King tier in perfect grade, and its attributes are water and earth. Its skills are Enhanced Reproduction level 3, Accelerated Regeneration level 2, Hardened Body level 3, Enhanced Spirit level 4, Water Mastery level 3, and Earth Mastery level 3. The Sea Coral King's special characteristic is coral waters. The Sea Coral King's body is made up of living and dead coral, and each mutated coral has a special physiological structure. They can create an environment that is slightly beneficial to aquatic organisms around them. Effect 1. Passive effect said numerous corals gather together to form a super large area that exists around the body of the Sea Coral King, and all water-type monsters within its boundary experience gradual recovery from wounds and diseases, and they will also feel happy and comfortable. Effect 2. Active effect said it can choose to consume some of the corals and provide enhanced healing to a specified target. However, the target must be near the Sea Coral King. The Sea Coral King description says coral reefs are made up of countless corals, and the dead bodies of corals become coral reefs. The parasitic corals on the coral reefs eject a large number of young bodies at intervals, and those young life forms rapidly evolve into new coral polyps in the water and then build new communities on the edges of coral reefs to form new reefs, expanding their boundaries. That process happens countless times, year after year, layer after layer. The new generation will keep expanding on the dead bodies of the previous generation, eventually growing into a behemoth, and one day, the behemoth becomes an intelligent sentient creature with consciousness, and the constant pollution humans pour into the sea has caused the Sea Coral King to hate humans. Gao Peng thinks as he expected, such a large creature must have evolved from a collection of sentient creatures, and if it's a living organism, then does the others, and he won't be able to return to shore alive. Gao Peng said what is truly scary about the Sea Coral King is its regeneration capabilities and commutative abilities, and if he has to describe it, it's akin to an aircraft carrier. Also, Gao Peng thinks if someone could conquer the Sea Coral King, they could build a headquarters directly on its back, and they could recruit large numbers of flying and marine monsters, and they would then be able to move unhindered across the entire ocean. Suddenly Gao Peng heard two men beside him debating what is the Sea Coral King, because the other man can't believe a big coral reef becomes sentient, and the other man proved that it can. Then Gao Peng walked toward the two men and tells them that what they arguing isn't important right now because based on their situation earlier, the Sea Coral King probably has the ability to control or charm the sea monsters, and right now, the sea level has already risen above the fortification, so there's a high chance it'll attack their place. Then the military man said they need to tell the other people to evacuate, and he asked the professors to follow him. Gao Peng also tells Goldie and Dummy to wrap things up quickly because they leaving too. While they walking, Gao Peng saw people and asked the military man why are the people still there because he thought civilians are prohibited. The military responded that the civilians probably sneaked in to loot some monster corpses, and he tells Gao Peng not to be concerned about the civilian because they need to retreat first. On the other hand, one military shouted to the civilians that they need to leave quickly because the golden sicklefish have already broken through their defense, and they're absolutely no less dangerous than sharks. And the military also tells the civilians that there was no need for them to risk their lives for such few corpses. One man tells his friends to run because their lives are more important. When one of the civilian men ran, he saw that the golden sicklefish is catching up to him. Then the man was shocked to see his familiar named Blackie come to save him. After Blackie killed the golden sicklefish, the man tells his beast that they should hurry and go to the shore. While walking, the man looked back and saw many golden sicklefishes swimming fast toward them. Then one of the fish attacked Blackie, which made the man shocked. But Blackie grabs the man's shirt and throws the man to the shore. Then the golden sicklefishes attacked Blackie. The man begs his friends to save his Blackie while saying he was the one who is greedy, and his Blackie doesn't deserve it. But his friends just didn't know what to say. Gao Peng called Flamey and Goldie to rescue Blackie, to which Flamey immediately burned the golden sicklefishes while Goldie grabbed Blackie and ran toward the shore. Goldie put down the injured Blackie to his owner, who was panicking and asking Blackie if it was okay. Gao Peng orders Dummy to give him a pedal, to which Dummy immediately gets to Flowery, who currently staying on his head. Then Dummy and Silly put the pedals on wounds of Blackie. The man cryingly said Blackie's wounds are gradually recovering, and he thanks Gao Peng continuously. But Gao Peng tells the man not to misunderstand because he only helped because of his familiar's undying loyalty. Gao Peng saw that the man's condition in the system showed happy but guilty. Then Flamey, who's still attacking the fishes, tells Gao Peng that the fishes started fighting and there are so many big fishes, prawns, and a bluefin tuna. On the other hand, the military, who currently blocking the sea monsters with their familiars, tells their captain that the monster wave is too powerful and their comrades and familiars can't hold the monster wave any longer. The captain responded that they need 1 minute max fully evacuate the citizens and they must stand their ground no matter what. But Gao Peng tells the military to step back while Dummy was flying toward the monster wave and attack the monster using its power. Then Dummy held his heart and shouted resurrect, which made the dead familiars come back to life. On the other hand, one military man who's holding his dead beast's name Afu, crying and saying it was all his fault. Then a white smoke entered Afu's head that made Afu come back to life, which made the man shocked. Then Afu angrily attacked the monster in the sea, and the other undead familiars of Dummy attacked the sea monsters once again. Meanwhile, one military reported to the commander that Gao Peng from the southern sky has resurrected an army of undead and had successfully held off the monster wave. The man also said General Lai and General Gao have already decided to start counterattacking. The commander happily said although Jai Huan is good for nothing, Jai Huan sure does have a good grandson. Meanwhile, in the seawater, one military pointed to the Sea Coral King and said the island monster left. Then the other military man collapsed on the water while saying it was finally over. While Gao Peng thinks luckily the army of undead stopped the monster wave, and once it ran out of fighters, the Coral King could only run away since it doesn't possess much attack power. Then Gao Peng looked back and was shocked to see Goldie picking the dead fish in the sea. Gao Peng tells Goldie to just bringing the Sea King electric eel's corpse back is enough and that he should leave the others fish. But Goldie responded he don't care because Gao Peng said one fish was worth 500 alliance credits. Then Goldie started to count the fish he was holding. Then Goldie saw the man picking up fish corpses and walked toward the man while telling the man to drop the fish corpses because all of it was his, which made the man shocked. On the other hand, Gao Peng answers Huang Ye call and asks why Huang Ye call him. Huang Ye congratulate Gao Peng on his victory and he said the Lord of the Undead has already started to spread. Gao Peng said the news spread fast because they have just wrapped things up over there. Then Gao Peng tells Huang Ye to stop with the nonsense because he knows Huang Ye must have something important to tell to him. Huang Ye tells Gao Peng that he has news about the unusual phenomenon. He asked him to keep an eye out and he said the ghostly soldiers walking the earth and building their own bases on the mortal plane. Gao Peng asked Huang Ye where, and Huang Ye responded in Bingzhou, Gaoping City, which made Gao Peng wonder would Bingzhou have the materials needed to promote Dummy to a legendary grade. Then Gao Peng ordered Huang to continue to look into it and that he needs accurate information. The next day, in the usual laboratory, Gao Peng was looking at the tube with a boiling solution while saying that the reaction of the solution is perfect and the solution was also successful. Then Gao Peng ordered Flowery to come to him because he'll give him his shot, which Flowery immediately followed. Then Flowery hugged Gao Peng's arm happily while Gao Peng was holding an injection in the other hand, telling Flowery not to be scared because it'll hurt a little, but it'll help him become stronger. Then Gao Peng injects the solution into Flowery. Gao Peng heard the water in the river splash, which made him say it was white and his grandfather is back from the heavenly lake. lake, and he wonder if that means that the Thunder God has successfully evolved. Then Gao Peng look at Flowery, who's inside the tube weak, and tells Flowery that he's still very weak, so he needs to rest inside the protective glass case for a while. Then Gao Peng walked outside and saw his familiars and his grandfather. Gao Peng asks his grandfather how's Thunder God is, but Jai Huan tells Gao Peng to see it himself. Then Gao Peng look at successful Thunder God evolved. Thunder God's new monster name is Thunder Shell God. It was level 45 and legendary grade, and its attribute is electric. Its status is healthy and happy, and its skills are Thunder Mastery level 5 and Hardened Shell level 4. Thunder God's special characteristic is Thunder Shell, a mysterious shell with equally mysterious properties, and it has a high electrical affinity. Effect 1, passive effect is Thunder Mastery level +1. Effect 2, active effect said the Thunder Shell God summons a calamitous storm within a certain area by releasing all the electricity stored in its shell, and it was named Electrogland, a special gland in the Thunder Shell God's body that allows it to summon and control the clouds. Effect 1, active effect said with it, the Thunder Shell God is capable of gathering all the clouds in the sky into a storm cloud and then drawing power from it. Also, the system showed Thunder God pathways for promotion to mythical grade are 1. Calamitous evolution, it was Calamitous Thunder Shell God, and 2. Eclectic evolution, it was Cloud Devourer Thunder Beast. Gao Peng patted Thunder God happily, while thinking the bonus Thunder Mastery level boost in the special characteristics section hasn't been added to Thunder God's Thunder Mastery level as shown in the monster skills section. So the actual Thunder Mastery level should be level 6, and that is the highest elemental mastery level he has ever seen. Which made Gao Peng wonders if the Thunder God is now a heavily armored eclectic attribute mage. Jai Huan tells Gao Peng that he tested Thunder God once he come back, and Thunder God is already legendary grade. Gao Peng responded that the evolution was a success after all. Jai Huan thinks those few breakthroughs have proven that Gao Peng can steadily breed legendary grade familiars, although Gao Peng doesn't have a 100% success rate. That is already a very terrifying achievement, and he thinks the southern sky is still peaceful as of now, but to further protect Gao Peng he needs to become stronger. Gao Peng tells his grandfather that he plans to bring Flamey on a trip to its birthplace. Then he asks his grandfather if he still remembers where Flamey birthplace was. Jai Huan responded that a year passed in the blink of an eye, but he think it was in a swamp to the west of Jiangnan Base City. Then Gao Peng look at Flamey and tells Flamey that he promised him last time, so they'll go visit his birthplace tomorrow. Flamey responded okay while thinking about his mother. The next day, in Jiangnan Base City's Southern Sky branch, Gao Peng was with Flamey listening to the man while looking at the monitor. The man pointed to the monitor and tells Gao Peng that the information he requested about all the crane type and crocodile type monsters in Jiangnan Base City and the swamp was on the monitor, which made Gao Peng tell the man named Chen he did good work. Then Flamey, who's looking at the monitor, tells Gao Peng to stop scrolling because he saw the crocodile. Gao Peng asks Flamey if the crocodile on the screen is the one who hurt his mom. Flamey responded yes and pointed to the screen while telling Gao Peng that those cranes behind the tree hiding are his kin. Gao Peng asked Chen if he know where the place was. Chen responded it was the swamp of the crocodile spirit in the Cayenne family's territory. Gao Peng slowly stands up while asking Chen if there's such a thing called the Cayenne family's territory. Then Gao Peng angrily asks Chen when did the wilderness become a family territory. Chen responded it's an unspoken rule and it is just like how everyone says that Yuzhu is Southern Sky's territory. Gao Peng look at Chen and tells Chen that Yuzhu can only be the Alliance's territory and they Southern Sky is just the Yuzhu government's closest ally, which made Chen immediately agree while wondering if the other districts say that Gao Peng is easily approachable because he thinks Gao Peng is just like a tiny Jai Huan. Then Gao Peng ordered Chen to tell him more about the Cayenne family. Chen responded currently, there are 12 Lord tier monster trainers in the Jiangnan Base City. 3 are from the government, 2 are from the military, 5 are from the 4 big families Zhao, Cayenne, Sun, and Lai, and the other 2 are from the common people. Chen also said among the 4 big families, the Cayenne family possesses 2 Lord tier familiars, so Gao Peng can say that the other families are led by them. Plus the Cayenne family has the support of the government. Gao Peng asks Chen which trainer in the Cayenne family has a Lord tier red-eyed crocodile as their familiar. Chen responded the second oldest member of the Cayenne family named Cayenne Wuliang. Gao Peng started to walk away while ordering Chen to send a written challenge to Cayenne Wuliang and have him meet him on the northern outskirts of the city in 3 days. Then Gao Peng angrily said life and death to each their own. Chen tells Gao Peng that challenging Cayenne Wuliang is like declaring war on the entire Cayenne family, and the 4 big families are in an alliance. So declaring war on the Cayenne family is akin to declaring war on the Big 4. But Gao Peng just said the family is just united with each other to protect their own interests from the government. Then Gao Peng look at Chen ordering Chen to send invitation to the Zhao, Sun, and Lai families and invite them to a banquet because they'll kick the Cayenne family out of their territory and he thinks it's time for the Southern Sky group to step in. Then Gao Peng asks Chen if two can play that game and if he agrees, which made Chen fearfully respond he agreed. Then Gao Peng continued to walk away again while saying he'll make a visit to their dear mayor tonight. Meanwhile, in the evening, at the Cayenne family's mansion, the secretary was running while telling the family head that they just received word that the Southern Sky Group has invited the Zhao, Sun, and Lai families to a banquet, and the three families have accepted the invitation, which made the Cayenne family shocked. The lady asks if someone offend the Southern Sky Group, and if not, why would the young master pick a fight with them? The man said they were the four big families, so he wondered how could they do that to them. The other man said they could just decline the challenge because it was just a written challenge. The other man responded that Gao Peng is lucky to have an influential grandfather backing him, and if they take Gao Peng on, they'll be provoking Jai Huan and it'll be troublesome for them. Suddenly someone hit the table hard while telling the Cayenne's member to stop talking. Then the man angrily asks why should they decline because he was Cayenne Wuliang and he fears no one. Wuliang also said he'll just spare Gao Peng familiars' lives when he defeats Gao Peng. Wuliang angrily said Gao Peng high popularity and an undead catastrophe were nothing, and young people like Gao Peng are all talk and no show. Then he orders them to spread the word that he accepts Gao Peng challenge and they'll meet in 3 days in the western outskirts. Then Wuling started to walk away, leaving the other Cayenne's members wondering if they really going to make an enemy out of the Southern Sky. On the other hand, the lady walks toward the one man while the man asks his mother if there is something she needs. The lady tells the man named Shayu that only he and his second uncle Wuliang have a Lord tier familiar in their family, so their family's future relies greatly on him. Then the lady also tells Shayu that when his uncle Wuliang shows up for the challenge, he should remember to look after his uncle. Shayu tells his mother that if she's worried that Wuliang might hurt Gao Peng, there's no need to worry because Gao Peng is stronger than Wuliang. The lady said the Cayenne family accepts any outcome from the match, but Wuliang has great ambition and is arrogant, so she's worried that Wuliang result to tricks because Wuliang doesn't want to lose, and Wuliang purposely changed the fight venue to the western outskirts. The lady also tells Shayu that if the worst comes to worst, he should bring Wuliang back immediately, no matter what it takes. Meanwhile, in Zhongbei City Chengxi outskirts swamp of the crocodile spirit, the crocodile was peacefully sleeping on the grass while Wuliang told it not to treat him as if he's invisible because he admit that he took advantage of it by forcing it to sign a blood contract with it when it was severely injured by the Lord tier fire type crane all those years ago. But Wuliang tells the crocodile that he has treated him well all these years. Then Wuliang also tells the crocodile that someone wants to challenge him. Then Wuliang asks if he still remembers the white dragon he encountered a year ago. Then Wuliang explained that the one who wants to challenge him is the grandson of the white dragon's trainer, which made the crocodile shocked to open its eyes and ask Wuliang if the white dragon come to challenge him. Wuliang responded no, and he said it was probably a skeleton. Then Wuliang tells the crocodile to try not to kill that person's familiar and spare its life, which made the crocodile just close its eyes again and doesn't care. Meanwhile, in Zhongnan-based city Lake Tai, Gao Peng was walking on the bridge with a girl. Then Gao Peng asked the girl why there were no silverfish for sale because he remembered that they were a Lake Tai specialty. The girl responded currently, it is prohibited to fish for silverfish in Lake Tai, and it is also prohibited to kill them because a silverfish prince has appeared in Lake Tai, and it scared all the other monsters living in the lake into not attacking the Zhongnan-based city. So they're only allowed to fish for monsters that aren't silverfish. Gao Peng look at the lake and thinks that the silverfish prince is smart at using the strength of others by letting the humans fish out the other monsters living in the lake, and the silverfish prince is able to create a conducive environment for the silverfish to grow in. Then Goldie happily jumps to call Gao Peng to come and take pictures. Then Goldie gives the camera to the girl while the girl tells Goldie she got it, and he'll definitely make sure he looks handsome in the photo. Then the girl captured a photo of Gao Peng and his familiars. The day of the challenge comes in the Zhongbei city's western outskirts. The man assured Gao Peng not to worry because they are representing the alliance and their judgments will be fair, which made Gao Peng thank the man. Then Flamey angrily looks at the crocodile who's smiling in the lake. Gao Peng looks at angry Flamey while thinking it was the first time he has seen Flamey that angry, and it looks like the crocodile is Flamey's nemesis. Then Gao Peng looked at their surrounding while saying as he expected, the place Cayenne Wuliang chose is a swampy land with abundant water and grass, as well as a large number of shallow shoals. Gao Peng knows that the place is the perfect environment for amphibious monsters. However, Gao Peng said a red-crowned crane's habitat has a lot of similarities to the crocodiles, and Flamey has the ability to fly. If it can't win, it can at least fly away. Suddenly, Wuling tells Gao Peng that he thinks the battle can be avoided and he hopes they can set aside their hatred. But Gao Peng responded that Flamey parents were killed, and Wuling demanded with great righteousness that it set aside its hatred and forgive its enemies. Gao Peng also tells Wuling that maybe he can do that, but Flamey can't, and he says he won't interfere in the fight because that is something Flamey and the crocodile needs to settle among themselves. which made the Cayen's members shocked and said they thought Gao Peng would be sending out the skeleton tyrant, and they think the crane looks 1 year old at most. Then they wonder if Gao Peng is crazy, but Gao Peng just laughs and tells Flamey to show those people what he got. To which Flamey immediately showed its fire aura while Gao Peng was beside it. Then Flamey flies above the crocodile to attack. But before Flamey can attack, the crocodile sucked Flamey to get close, then the crocodile uses its tail to attack Flamey. Fortunately, Flamey uses the force of the explosion to dodge it. Flamey fly higher and attacked the crocodile's tail using its firepower. On the other hand, Gao Peng thinks the crocodile combo is scary because it sucked Flamey into his attack range for a surprise attack, and he thinks the Crocodile King is surely strong. Also, he knows that if Flamey hadn't used the force of the explosion to dodge its tail, the fight would have been over right then and there. The crocodile monster's name is Greenwood Swamp Red-Eye Crocodile King. It was level 45 normal tier and its attributes are water and wind. Its abilities are Hardened Carapace level 3, Sharp Fangs level 2, Water Mastery level 3, and Wind Mastery level 2. The crocodile's current condition is healthy and calm. In its introduction said a giant crocodile who lives in the swamp region. It's arrogant yet powerful and it has strong attacks and likes to live in a group. Gao Peng shouted to tell Flamey that one of the crocodile's attributes is wind, so he should be careful not to get hit with its wind attribute attacks. To which Flamey responded he understand. Wu Ling tells the crocodile that Flamey attribute is fire and it can fly, so he needs to watch out, and also. But before Wu Ling can finish his words, the crocodile said Wu Ling is noisy, which made Wu Ling stunned. Then Flamey attacked the crocodile from above, which made the crocodile tells Flamey that his attacks aren't effective and he can't continue to be on the defensive anymore. Then the crocodile swims inside the water and uses its water skill to shield itself from Flamey fire attack, which made Flamey shocked. Gao Peng worriedly thought that the crocodile used its surroundings to create an elemental barrier, and that is its home ground. Also, as he expected, the crocodile has a trump card. But Flamey angrily asks the crocodile if he thinks water can stop his flames. Then Flamey attacked the crocodile using fireballs to make a rains of fireballs, while shouting he'll scorch the crocodile's skin and dry out every drop of its water. Gao Peng said he can feel the scorching heat despite standing a few hundred meters away. And even if the Crocodile King doesn't die, it'll at least lose its skin. Then Gao Peng saw that the crocodile condition is moderately injured and burned. Then the crocodile tried to escape, but Flamey chased it while telling it is not giving it a chance to run. The crocodile looks at Flamey, then it attacked using its wind skill, which made Gao Peng worried, and asks Flamey if he's okay. Flamey tells Gao Peng not to worry because he won't get hit a second time. Then Flamey angrily shouted that he'll burn the crocodile to death and avenge his mother, which made the crocodile thinks the heat of Flamey flames is even higher than before, and he knows that Flamey isn't just any ordinary lord tier. Also, the crocodile said if he doesn't come up with a plan soon, he'll really die. Then the crocodile saw Gao Peng and thinks that as long as he eliminates Flamey Trainer he'll be fine. Then it attacked Gao Peng, which made Wu Ling shocked and asked his crocodile what it was doing, and he shouted don't attack Gao Peng. On the other hand, Yu and his beast are hiding from the tree. Yu orders his beasts to be quick because they need to stop the Crocodile King. But Yu beast tells Yu to wait and look because the ghoul-type familiar next to Gao Peng is strong. Dummy kicks the crocodile away from Gao Peng, which made the crocodile thrown away. Then it starts to run while Flamey's still chasing it while telling it not to run. Gao Peng said the crocodile even knows how to make use of the momentum to run away. However, Gao Peng said Flamey has already won and the crocodile's movements are agile and it has a strong burst attack. So if Flamey hadn't received his help and was just an ordinary lord tier, there's no way that it would have been able to get its revenge. On the other hand, Yu approaches his uncle, but Wu Ling tells Yu not to worry because a defeat is a defeat and he won't resort to dirty tricks, which made Yu thinks his second uncle is more cooperative than he'd thought, and Wu Ling people are also becoming more willing to listen to his mother's orders. Although the Cayenne family suffered some setbacks in the past, at least they're more united now. Suddenly Wu Ling coughed blood, which made Yu worried and helped his uncle to walk while saying seeing how serious the backlash Wu Ling received, it looks like the odds are against the Crocodile King, and he was afraid that from now on, there might no longer be a Crocodile King in Zhongnan Base City. After the challenge, Gao Peng was on the Lake Tai Bridge while Chen reported that the Cayenne family is willing to cede the entire Crocodile Spirit Swamp to the Southern Sky Group, including all the familiars inside, and that includes Flamey's kin, and the Cayenne family also prepared a huge sum of money as compensation. Gao Peng responded no and said that the challenge is just a personal vendetta between the two familiars and he'll accept the Crocodile Spirit Swamp, but Gao Peng tells Chen to pay the Cayenne family back according to the market price and return the compensation in full. Chen responded yes and said in addition, the three big families have signed a partnership agreement with them, and the local division of their company will establish a branch of the Explorers Union in the Crocodile Spirit Swamps as the second membership program. Chen also tells Gao Peng that the company has fulfilled his request to send relevant personnel to check on the flaming red crane's living conditions at regular intervals. Gao Peng tells Chen that he has done well, then he asks Flamey if he really not going to visit his kin. Flamey responded that even without his intervention, there's a chance that his kin will be able to forge their own evolution pathways one day, and Flamey tells Gao Peng that being able to assist him in his revenge has already made him happier than ever, and as for other things, he'll just let nature take its course. Suddenly Gao Peng was shocked and confused to see something in the lake swimming toward them. It was the monster named the Mystical Mirror Diviner Turtle. It was level 46 in perfect grade and its attribute is Mystic. Its abilities are Reflective Mirror Armor level 4, Jade Skeleton level 3, and Water Manipulation level 3. Its special characteristic is Mystical Shell Armor, an extraordinary shell that developed over the years and may be used to divine prosperity or misfortune. Its special characteristic 1, passive ability said it has a strong sense of danger and will avoid any danger once detected, and it can also sense good fortune, and good fortune will then approach, which made Gao Peng wonder if it could be that the turtle is a good judge of character and is there to be his familiar. When the turtle was near to Gao Peng, he wondered if he should accept the turtle as his familiar or not. But then the turtle gives a material's name Ambergris Jade. It was made out of the condensation of various dragon species, and it can store the dragon's languages and information about them. When Gao Peng gets the jade, he looks at it and wonders why the turtle gives him that jade, while the turtle is returning to the lake. Gao Peng also wonders if it could be that the turtle was sent by the Silver Dragon Prince to find White Dragon. Then Gao Peng gives the jade to Chen while telling Chen to send the jade back to White Dragon and Yuzhu because he has to go on a trip to the Changping village next. To which Chen immediately agreed. Meanwhile, in the Gayoping base city outside Changping village, Xiao Zhu, Qingjai, and Xinrui with their familiars were there searching. Xiao Zhu said he thinks they were nearing Changping village, which Xinrui responded yes. Then she gets something in her bag while saying that the report stated that all the monsters inside are ghoul type, so they should rub some ghoul powder on themselves first. Then Xinrui showed a box of ghoul powder which made Xiao Zhu shocked. Xinrui tells Xiao Zhu not to be a baby and hurry up because the powder only lasts for 4 hours, and she said that it's just ashes of ghoul-type monsters, not humans. Then they started to rub the ghoul powder on themselves while Xinrui reminded them to not forget to rub some on their familiar. Suddenly Xinrui see a red grass on the ground and happily said that was blood sword grass that they can sell for up to 10 alliance credits, and if she collect all of the blood sword grass that adds up to more than 100,000 alliance credits. Then she said she's gonna be rich. While Xinrui excitedly picked up the red grass on the ground, Xiao Zhu said that the place is more dangerous than they thought, which made Qingjai ask why is the place dangerous. Then Xiao Zhu pointed to the ground and said that the whole field is littered with valuable materials, yet no one has come to pick up the materials. Then he asks Qingjai what she thinks is the reason. Then they started to walk again while Xiao Zhu tells Xinrui that the bone ash of her is pretty effective because the previous 2 teams were attacked multiple times on the stretch of road, but they were able to reach there safely. While they walking, something inside the ground felt Xiao Zhu's feet. Then a hand come out of the field and tried to grab his feet. Fortunately, Oriate punched the hand in time. Xinrui tells Xiao Zhu to be careful because they're only hiding their smell with ghoul powder, but the monster there can still sense them if they're too close. Suddenly the air in the place got heavier and someone tells them to go home continuously. Then the ghost soldiers come out underground, which made Xinrui said there are thousands of ghost soldiers, and she said Gao Peng's commission isn't easy to complete. Then Xinrui pointed to somewhere and tells Xiao Zhu and Qingjai that the General's Bone and the 1,000-year Heart of Darkness can be found at the center of the village, but the flames of darkness spawn randomly. Then Xinrui said that they should search the vicinity first, and if they don't find anything in an hour, they'll head straight into the center of the village. Then the group started to continue to walk. While walking, Qingjai shaken cold and asks if there were really people who live there. Xinrui responded that according to their sources, the people in the Changping village moved away after the cataclysm, but she said those dry corn cobs look like they were hung up on the wall just recently. Suddenly someone appeared behind them, which made them shocked. The man with a monster in human form said hello to them and said that the general would like to see them. Xinrui asks the man which general. The man responded that it was General Zhao, which made Qingjai realize that it was the Battle of Changping Zhao Qiuo. Xiao Zhu and Xinrui look at each other. Then Xiao Zhu said they should follow the man and the monster in human form because he trusts that the great General Zhao Qiuo wouldn't result in dirty tricks. They follow the man and arrive at the gate with a ghost soldier guarding it, while the man tells them that they're almost there. Then the ghost soldier opens the gate for them and they saw General Zhao sitting in the center while many soldier ghosts were behind him. which made Xiao Zhu think that the place is the nest of the ghost soldiers. Then Xinri introduced herself and said he greets General Zhao, which made General Zhao laugh hysterically and ask if he should take Xinri's words as an insult. Then the ghost soldiers pointed the weapons at them, but Xinri calmly put her hands in the air while telling General Zhao that they would never dare to insult his excellency. General Zhao looked at their beast and said they were the strongest group he have seen in the past few years. Then General Zhao said he would like to work with them, and if they're there for Changping's local specialties, he'll allow it, but he would like something of equal value from them in return. Which made Xinri breathe a sigh of relief and think if it's something money can solve, it won't be a problem for them. Then she asks the General Zhao what he needs. Xinri also tells General Zhao that they hail from the Southern Sky Group, and at least in terms of financial resources, they will definitely be able to fulfill all of his requests. General Zhao responded that they should tell him what they need first. Xinri said they need a general's bone and a 1,000-year heart of darkness, which made General Zhao wonder why they need his bone. Then General Zhao said fine, but they may only take one bone, and as for the 1,000-year heart of darkness, he has never heard of it. Xinri tells General Zhao that the 1,000-year heart of darkness is his heart. Then she orders her beast to attack General Zhao, to which her mantis shrimp immediately did and made the general throw in the wall. Xiao Zhu tells Xinri that she's really something, and after an attack like that, her crystal sparrow-tailed mantis shrimp won't be able to use its pincers for a month. Then Xiao Zhu asks Xinri if her mantis shrimp is an assassin. But before Xinri can answer, Qingjai from behind shouts that they have been surrounded by ghost soldiers, which made Xinri shouted that they can't let the ghost soldier gather. Then Qingjai order her deer to use the holy light deer. Then the deer holy light heals Xinri mantis shrimp broken pincer and fades all the ghost soldiers who got hit by the holy light. Inside the holy light, Qingjai said looks like they'd temporarily suppressed the ghost soldiers. On the other hand, Xinri noticed that there was something that was absorbing yin energy from the hole, and General Zhao should still be alive. Then she shouted that they should kill General Zhao when he was weak. Then she called Kangaroo, to which Oriate understand and punches the hole multiple times where General Zhao was. Suddenly General Zhao's sword in the ground moved, then it goes inside the hole hitting Oriate arm. Then General Zhao stand up and caught his sword, then angrily attack Oriate using his sword and look at them and ask them how dare lowly thieves like them attack him. Then General Zhao raises his sword in the air while ordering his ghost soldiers to kill them all. Xiao Zhu notices the yin energy is gathering to form a blood cloud, and he knows that it was bad because if they get swallowed by the blood cloud, they'll tire themselves to death while fighting the ghost soldiers. Then he orders his hairball to release the black smoke, which hairball immediately did. Then Xiao Zhu tells his team to retreat. Qingjai and Xinri jump toward the eagle's back while Oriate and Xiao Zhu were holding onto the eagle's leg. While they fly away, Xinri wonders why the sky is changing again. Xiao Zhu responded that the lighting is driving away the blood clouds. Then Xinri was shocked to see a white dragon. Xiao Zhu said it was Jai Huan. White used its power to make a tornado to clear the clouds. On the other hand, General Zhao confidently shouts that he'll cut White in half in one strike. Then General Zhao attacks White using its skill sword. But General Zhao's attack just faded on White's tornado and got hit by it, which made General Zhao thrown away. Then Jai Huan gets down at White while saying he doesn't care if General Zhao's name is Zhao Qiuo or Lai Qiuo, and he tells General Zhao that since he dares to stand in their way, he should accept his fate, which made General Zhao ask who is Jai Huan. But before General Zhao can finish his words, Jai Huan orders White to take General Zhao away, but he should be gentle and not kill him. A few moments later, in Jai Huan's side lake, General Zhao was thrown onto the ground unconscious. Then Jai Huan tells Gao Peng that he doesn't know how to harvest the general's bone and the 1,000-year heart of darkness he wanted, so he just brought the whole thing for him. Jai Huan also said he had brought the flames of darkness that Xinri collected for him, which made Gao Peng stun, and thinks it was another material obtained so easily, and he doesn't even need to face any hardship. Gao Peng also thinks that there is only one material left to collect in order to promote dummy to legendary grade. Then Gao Peng look at White, who's looking at its burned tail confused. Then Gao Peng called White and asked what did the Silver Dragon Prince give to him and if the Silver Dragon is his son. Then Gao Peng excitedly said no way, because White is so young yet it already has a son. Then Gao Peng asks White who's Silver Dragon's mom, which made White angry and wet him using the lake water. Jai Huan started to walk away while telling Gao Peng that there was something he hadn't had the chance to tell him. A spatial rift has appeared in the Beihai district, and it shouldn't be too dangerous with his skill level, so that experience will be good for him. This made Gao Peng, who was drenched, wonder what's spatial rift. The next day, in the Beihai district, Gao Peng asks the military if the spatial rift is inside the building. The military responded yes, and he said the black fog weakens the most at noon and when its diffusion rate is considerably suppressed. However, at night, it envelops the entire building, completely concealing it from sight. Then the military pointed to the monsters and tells Gao Peng that those monsters are the main inhabitant of the black fog, and normal weapons don't work on the monsters. The monster's name is a black jacket gecko. It was level 20 in normal grade and its type is shadow. Its skill is power of shadow level 1, and its description said a gecko wearing a black coat, and it capable of moving nimbly with its slender body. It also likes to eat fresh meat. Gao Peng said there shouldn't be any Lord tier monsters inside. Then he ordered Goldie to go and take a look inside the building, to which Goldie immediately followed. Then the military ordered the Team 2 to stand by, but Gao Peng tells the man that they don't need to enter because Goldie can handle the situation alone. On the other hand, Goldie attacks all the geckos that block his way, which made the geckos scream. One military man tells his comrade that he thinks it's the screams of the black jacket geckos. A few minutes later, Goldie walks out of the building while telling Gao Peng that all the monsters inside have been taken care of by the humble monk, which he means himself. Then Goldie showed the dead gecko to Gao Peng while telling Gao Peng that all the monsters inside are fish with 4 legs. Then Goldie asks Gao Peng if he can sell the corpse of the geckos for 500 alliance credits. Gao Peng responded that it was a gecko, and he also asked Goldie where did he get those Buddhist prayer beads. Then Gao Peng said all the monsters inside should be cleared out, so they'll enter first. Then they started to walk inside the building, passing geckos in the side. Then Gao Peng saw the item named Spatial Rift. It's travel between 2 entirely different worlds, which made Gao Peng wonder why a spatial rift is considered an item, and he thinks if it's an item that means he can definitely bring it back with him. He also said maybe he can capture 2 spatial rifts and place them at their home as back doors. Suddenly the spatial rift released smoke, which made Gao Peng wonders what was happening. Then a tentacle comes out of it, and the monster named Yellow Jacket Devil Octopus comes out of it. It was level 26 commander tier in normal grade, and its attribute is psychic. Its status is healthy but afraid, and its description said a monster that likes to control the minds of enemies to satisfy its convoluted heart, and finally devours its still fearful prey. Gao Peng thinks if only he knew what the yellow jacket and the black jacket stood for, and he wonders if could it be the black jacket gecko and yellow jacket devil octopus attributes are means black is shadow, and yellow is mind. Then Goldie punched the octopus in the chin while asking what was that ugly thing because it was hideous, and he said the octopus even wore a yellow jacket to imitate him, leaving Gao Peng stunned in the side. Then Gao Peng asked the military if they have explored the other side of the spatial rift. The military responded that they tried to throw an electronic device into the spatial rift, but they were unable to receive any signal. Then they experimented using monsters, but all of their monsters were killed. Gao Peng ordered Dummy to summon the Sea King Eel skeleton and let it check out the spatial rift for them, which Dummy immediately summoned the King Eel and made the military beast scared and tell it not to be scared because it's not an enemy. Then the Ghoul King Eel enters the spatial rift. Dummy tells Gao Peng that there are only a few black jacket geckos on the other side and there are no other stronger monsters. Then Dummy tells Gao Peng that he'll go inside the spatial rift and confirm. A few seconds later, Dummy, who's inside the spatial rift, tells Gao Peng that it's safe, which made Gao Peng responded okay. Then he orders Flamey, Goldie, and Dazai to follow him. Then Gao Peng peeks his head into the spatial rift while thinking that the feeling of passing through a spatial rift is peculiar, and it feels like his passing through a curtain of water. Gao Peng also notices that there's not much black fog there, so his vision isn't disrupted. Then Gao Peng looks at the wall wondering why the wall looks like a maze, while the military behind him told the other militaries inside the spatial rift to be faster and prioritize measuring data and collecting samples. Gao Peng looks at his surrounding and thinks that it was the look of a different world. Suddenly they heard a loud noise which made the militaries shocked. Then one of the militaries pointed to something and called his captain to look at it. The monster's name is Blood Jacket Labyrinth Watcher. It was level 49 Lord tier in excellent grade and its attribute is Shadow. Its skills are Power of Shadow level 3, Strong Muscle level 3, Enhanced Hearing level 3, and Super Recovery level 3. Its special characteristic is a bloody pursuit that means when its attack makes contact with a target, within 10 seconds, all Blood Jacket Labyrinth Watchers within a certain range will receive a real-time vision of the aforementioned target. The Labyrinth Watcher's weakness is light and its description said a monster unique to the desolate labyrinth in the Black Fog world. With a mischievous disposition, it likes to play tricks on travelers that get lost in the maze and will become uncharacteristically violent after suffering damage, as well as grudges. It also remembers the face of anyone who attacks it, even after 100 years. Gao Peng noticed that the Labyrinth Watcher was holding a weapon which made him wonder if that world have its own civilization. Then Flamey angrily flies toward the labyrinth while telling it not to play tricks, but Flamey just stopped by the invisible wall in the air. Then the labyrinth laughs hard, and when it looks back it was confused and shocked to saw Gao Peng telling the military to hurry up and run out of there. Then it angrily walked inside the maze which made Gao Peng said it was chasing them. Then he orders Dazai to hold it off, to which Dazai immediately made electricity balls and attacked the labyrinth using it. Goldie ran while shouting that he'll help Dazai, but Gao Peng stopped Goldie, which made Goldie confused. Gao Peng tells Goldie that if he grows in size there, he won't be able to pass through the spatial rift later. On the other hand, Dazai, who's being attacked by a big axe, was shocked and called Dummy to come and help him. Dummy arrived and used his arm to shield Dazai while telling Dazai to fall back. Then Dummy fell to the ground, then jump and kick the labyrinth leg, which made the labyrinth fall to the ground because its leg was destroyed. Then Dummy jumped in the air and punched the labyrinth's head, which made the labyrinth scream in pain. Then Gao Peng asked Dummy to translate his word to tell the labyrinth his words. Gao Peng said they came there from another world through a spatial rift and they come in peace and harbored the kindest intention. He also said he didn't intend to hurt his knee and it happened because he couldn't control his strength, which Dummy translates to the labyrinth. Suddenly Gao Peng heard the noise again, which made Gao Peng shock and said that noise again. Then he counted and saw 7 different labyrinths standing looking at them. Then Gao Peng looked at the injured labyrinth and was shocked to see that its wounds are already starting to heal, and 8 excellent grade labyrinth watchers with super recovery skills. The labyrinth sits and talks. Dummy tells Gao Peng that the labyrinth said that there's a barricade seal around the labyrinth, so there's only one way in, and he thought that there were loopholes in the labyrinth's defense, but who would have thought that it was a spatial rift? Then the labyrinth, who's in level 50 and in the peak of Lord tier, said that they don't harbor ill intentions toward them either, but they need their help to wake up their master, which made Gao Peng think who knows if the labyrinths will secretly try to offer them as a sacrifice. Then Gao Peng tells the labyrinths to give them some time to prepare, and they'll return when they're ready. The labyrinth responded fine, and he hoped Gao Peng aren't lying to them. Then Gao Peng asked the labyrinth if they can give them some black geckos to raise. The labyrinth responded that Gao Peng would not be able to raise the geckos as its reptiles don't reproduce with each other. However, the labyrinth said if he is able to wake up their master, he believed their master would be happy to trade with him. Then the labyrinth also said they, the people of the desolate labyrinth, do not hate humans, unlike many other forces in the Black Fog world, which made Gao Peng ask if there are other humans in the Black Fog world and if they're located close to the labyrinth. The labyrinth responded he haven't seen any humans in the past 70 years and those liars escaped to other worlds. Then the labyrinth started to walk away while telling Gao Peng that he may go back first and come back when he's willing to wake their master for them. Gao Peng said it seems like there once existed humans in that world, but they left a bad reputation. Gao Peng also said he wondered if the humans in that world also owned familiars, but since Dummy can communicate with the spatial rift monsters, they should have. Gao Peng thinks humans from other worlds wouldn't be a problem if there isn't a huge difference in strength, but if there is, all it would bring is war and invasion. After a few days, in the laboratory, Gao Peng was looking at Happy Flowery, who was hugging the crystals in the buckets while thinking that Flowery reached 31, and those jelly-like frozen crystal soil really does work as well as they say. And the only drawback is that it was expensive because it was 15 alliance credits for 1 acre, and the only ingredient currently missing to promote Dummy is the essence of the undying heart. Gao Peng also thinks he thought they could find it in Changping, but Changping doesn't fit the image of a peaceful resting place, and the amount of resentment from the 400,000 soldiers who died there must have been over the sky. Gao Peng thought was interrupted when his phone rang and he saw that the school is calling, which made him wonder what could the school be calling him for. When Gao Peng answers the call, the man was panicking tells Gao Peng that there's an extra bronze statue at their school gate, which made Gao Peng shocked. Gao Peng goes to the school and saw the monster named animated bronze statue of Qin Qiang looking at Guangong statue. It was level 41 Lord tier in normal grade and its status is healthy but impassive, which made Gao Peng wonder why did a Lord tier bronze statue suddenly appear on his doorstep, and he planned to just take it back to his home and let it stay with Stripey for a while. After that, he'll let it stand guard at the school. Then Gao Peng ordered Dazai to take down the Qin Qiang statue, which Dazai immediately agreed. Then Dazai charged his electricity and attacked the Qin Qiang statue using it, which made the Qin Qiang statue shocked. Then Gao Peng called Dazai attacked electrotherapy wrapped around the Qin Qiang statue's body and electrocuted it, which made the statue shout in pain. Then Gao Peng dragged the electrocuted Qin Qiang statue while happily saying the next is his turn, which made the military man and Dazai shocked. Then the man said that the Qin Qiang statue weighs thousands of kilograms and yet Gao Peng is able to drag it away with just one hand. Gao Peng looked back and said he gained 1% of Stripey's strength, and Stripey can lift way more than just a few thousand kilograms. Then Gao Peng happily apologized to the military man for scaring him, which made the military man and Dazai speechless in shock. After a few hours, in Yuzhou, in the small valley where Stripey is resting, one beast was confused to see Stripey looking at him. On the other hand, Gao Peng tells Stripey that he brought him a toy. Then Gao Peng tells Dazai to release the statue, to which Dazai immediately did and freeze the statue, which made the statue confused. Then the statue tried to attack Gao Peng, which made Gao Peng said the statue is still so energetic even after being tied up for so long. Stripey got angry and said a toy cannot be too naughty. Then it flicks the statue away from Gao Peng, which made the statue thrown into the stone, leaving Da Zai and Gao Peng worried. Stripey panicky asks Gao Peng if he didn't break the statue. Gao Peng patted Stripey leg and responded no. Then he tells Stripey that the statue won't break as long as he's gentle with it. Gao Peng responds made Stripey said it was a relief. Then Stripey sadly asks Gao Peng when can he leave the place with him because although it's nice there, he still misses him and the others a lot, which made Gao Peng stunned and worried for a moment, then tells Stripey not to worry because he'll definitely find a way. And they still need to go on adventures together. Then Da Zai grabs Gao Peng to fly away while Gao Peng tells Stripey that he'll come to visit him again. But Stripey thinks he isn't stupid and he knows that he's getting bigger. Stripey sadly asks in his thought if he'll never be able to stay by Gao Peng's side anymore. On the other hand, the Qin Qiang statue laying on the ground and crying while calling for help and explaining that he was just excited to find one of his kind, and got curious about it. Then it asked what are the people going to do to him and he said he's not curious anymore. Meanwhile, in Africa region Zambia Lusaka-based city, the man in the suit asks the other man if there's no one who can decipher the symbols on the table in front of them. The man responded that the linguists all said that those letters don't appear to be of terrestrial origin and one of them said that they seem to resemble an Atlantean language. But before the man can finish his words, the man in the suit angrily said that he doesn't care if it's an Atlantean language or not because he just wants to know what those letters mean, which made the man respond yes in fear. Then the man in the suit points to the line on the table and tells the man not to just say yes and tells him what that is. The man responded he thinks that is an unexplored city, which made the man in the suit angrily shout that the Black Badger group may not be as great as the Crimson Leopard of the Nine-Headed Lion, but what they lack is an opportunity, and he said that the completely new and unexploded city ruin is their chance. Then the man in the suit orders his people to prepare to head out, leaving the man at the table looking and wondering why the city ruin looks like a maze. Meanwhile, in the Beihai district, in front of the spatial rift, Xiao Zhu and his beast Oriate were looking at the spatial rift. Then Xiao Zhu said that it was his first time seeing the spatial rift. On the other hand, Tang Tang tells Gao Peng that she won't be crossing over and she have told Softy to listen to his every command. Then Gao Peng thanked her. Then Gao Peng tells his familiars that they should go. Gao Peng and his team enter the spatial rift and got welcomed by the labyrinth, who said that he knew Gao Peng would return. Gao Peng tells Dummy to relay his words to the labyrinth exactly as how he told him earlier. Then Dummy tells the labyrinth that Gao Peng said those monsters with him are his familiars. Then he asks if there won't be a problem if they come with him. The labyrinth turned around and responded of course not, which made Gao Peng think he purposely instructed Dummy to say the word familiars, but the labyrinth watcher didn't react, so that means humans are also monster trainers in that world. Then Gao Peng looked down and see the plant. The system showed that the plant is consumable, and it's rich in nutrients and water. Gao Peng said the plant is food from another world. Then he drinks it while saying its taste is not bad. In the same time, Gao Peng ordered Mouse to memorize the route using their telepathy. After a moment of walking, the labyrinth said they were there and pointed to the Grand Hall covered in ice while saying that their master is sealed inside the Grand Hall. Gao Peng asks the labyrinth if he's hoping that he could wake up his master, and he said he doesn't know how to remove the seal, and it can't be as simple as burning it with fire. The labyrinth responded that their master was the one who sealed himself and the seal will be automatically removed when a monster trainer enters the hall. Gao Peng walks toward the Grand Hall while telling Goldie that he's entering with him. Inside the Grand Hall, Gao Peng and Goldie were inside Goldie's elemental barrier. Gao Peng wonders what type of ice is the Grand Hall and why is it so cold. Gao Peng also thinks if it wasn't for the elemental barrier he'd have frozen to death in just 5 minutes. Suddenly Gao Peng was shocked to see two creatures. One creature is on the ground and the other one is on the throne. The one creature in the ground sealed in the ice was material named a well-preserved blood hunter corpse, and its description said it used to be a blood hunter. However, after its death, it became a corpse, so they can do anything they want with that corpse. Which made Gao Peng think he didn't expect that the frozen dead body on the ground belonged to the blood hunter, and he wondered what the other creature lying on the throne was. Then Gao Peng looked at the other creature on the throne and saw that it was the monster named Desolate Frost Lion, who was currently sleeping. It's level 11 elite tier and legendary grade, and its attribute is ice. Its weakness is rock and its special characteristic is eternal frost, which means it provides more frost power for its control. Effect 1. Active effect is a frozen field, which means it releases the frost power within its body to form a field, and the field will be affected by its frost power, and only the ones approved by the Desolate Frost Lion are immune to the frozen field effect. Effect 2. Eternal Frost Field, which means it completely releases all the frost power from its body, causing devastating damage to certain areas in its surrounding. However, its own bloodline power will be greatly weakened, causing it to fall into a deep sleep. Also, its other special characteristics of it are inactivated. The Frost Lion introduction said a divine polar lion with devastating first power in its bloodline, and it fell into a deep slumber due to excessive exertion of power. Gao Peng remembers that the Labyrinth Watcher said that their master is a blood hunter, which is the corpse in the ground, and the little lion is probably its murderer. Gao Peng touched the blood hunter sealed ice while thinking that the Labyrinth Watchers asked him to wake up their master, but he wonders if they don't know that their master is dead. Then Gao Peng realizes that maybe the labyrinth traps them. Suddenly he heard something outside and he heard Flamey telling Gao Peng that there are so many monsters outside, which made Gao Peng panic and tell Goldie that they should go. Suddenly Gao Peng heard the little lion yawn, so he looked back while asking if the little lion is awake. The little lion stand up, but Gao Peng and Goldie ran away while Gao Peng told Goldie to ignore the little lion because they need to go outside immediately, leaving the little lion confused. When Gao Peng arrived outside the Grand Hall, he asked Xiao Zhu what was going on. Xiao Zhu responded that after Gao Peng went in, the Labyrinth Watchers suddenly attacked them, and if Dummy hadn't summoned the Sea King Eel skeleton to block the exit, the labyrinths would have killed all of them. Then Gao Peng asks Flamey how's his injury. Flamey, who is currently being healed by Flowery, responded if the labyrinths hadn't jumped them. But before he can finish his words, he feels the pain of his injury and tells Flowery to be gentle. Goldie got angry and run toward the labyrinths while saying he'll avenge Flamey, but Gao Peng tried to stop Goldie while telling Goldie that the labyrinths outnumber them, so he shouldn't be rash. Gao Peng also said things for them become troublesome. Suddenly he heard something behind him, then when he looked back he saw the little lion and asked it why did it follow them. Gao Peng also tells the little lion that it's dangerous there, so he should hide. On the other hand, Goldie launched toward the labyrinth while asking how dare it hurt Flamey. Then Goldie kicked the labyrinth's face and punched it while angrily shouting that he'll kill all the labyrinths. But the labyrinths attacked back using its weapon and hit Goldie in the back, which made Gao Peng shocked, ignoring the little lion again protesting in his back. Gao Peng angrily looks back and tells the little lion that he doesn't understand what he's saying, and he suggested that they should just sign a blood contract, which made the little lion shocked. The little lion asks Gao Peng if he thinks he's the same as those foolish newborn monsters, and it said he won't be fooled by a cunning and vicious human being like Gao Peng. But before it can speak again, Gao Peng put his thumb finger with blood to its forehead, which made it shock. Then Gao Peng enters the little lion's consciousness while thinking that the desolate frost lion's consciousness is very big and he can feel an enormous yet weak consciousness creeping around the depths of its sea of consciousness. Gao Peng realizes that the little lion is definitely over level 11 and it's only in a weakened state after it fully unleashed its power. Gao Peng also knows that the little lion will be able to fully recover back to its original form after swallowing an ice-type treasure. Suddenly, Frost Lion tells Gao Peng that if he really wishes to sign a blood contract with him, he'll allow it. However, he will face many strong enemies. Then he asks Gao Peng if he's sure. Gao Peng asked the little lion how strong it was during its peak performance and how strong his enemies were. The little lion responded that his peak performance was only a step away from Overlord tier, and those who were strong enough to be his enemies would be at least Emperor tier. Then it tells Gao Peng that if he is scared, he can let him go and he won't blame him for being a coward because he knows it's not a burden that a young man his age should take on. Then Gao Peng responded alright and said that their contract is signed, which made the little lion shocked and asked Gao Peng if did he not understand what he said. Gao Peng responded he heard it and is not scared. Then Gao Peng tells the little lion that he thought he was strong, but now he guesses he aren't, which made the little lion angry and attacked Gao Peng while saying he can't believe Gao Peng thinks is weak and Gao Peng is too arrogant. The little lion tells Gao Peng that although he knows he owns a king tier familiar through the blood contract, he might not be able to own an emperor tier familiar for his entire life. And it said Gao Peng won a jackpot by owning an emperor tier familiar that was incredibly close to becoming an overlord tier familiar at the age of 20. But Gao Peng reminds the little lion that he's only at the elite tier right now. The little lion tells Gao Peng that he has lived for 126 years and is older than his grandfather. But Gao Peng once again reminds the lion that he's only at the elite tier right now. The lion angrily tells Gao Peng that he has killed over 10 Emperor tier monsters and he has dominated territories that span thousands of miles, so the other monsters called him the Frost Lion King, but Gao Peng just reminds it once again that it's currently only elite tier. Then Gao Peng tells the lion to stop talking nonsense and just tell him how to deal with their current situation. But the little lion responded that they should run, which made Gao Peng confused. The little lion responded that they have humongous bodies, but they were still inside the desolate labyrinth, and if they can stand a chance in combat, they fight. If not, obviously they have to run. Then the lion tells Gao Peng not to worry because the labyrinth is his and he know the way out. And he also said he built a tunnel that only monsters with small bodies would be able to go through, and those big labyrinth watchers wouldn't be able to get through. But Gao Peng just throws the little lion to Xiao Zhu while telling the little lion to forget its plan because he can't abandon Goldie. Then he orders Xiao Zhu to take the little lion and leave first. But the little lion said no and tells Gao Peng that they just signed a blood contract, and he have already started digging his grave. Gao Peng tells the little lion to relax because he has a king tier familiar, and although it's not there with him, he still has a portion of its strength in him, which made the little lion angrily and said so what if he has a portion of his familiar's strength, and ask how much strength can a familiar give him. But before the little lion can finish its words, Gao Peng kicked one of the labyrinth legs, which made the labyrinth shout in pain and fall. Then Gao Peng orders Da Zai and Dummy to use their thunder and blood thread heart, to which Da Zai and Dummy immediately did, which made the labyrinth watchers scream in pain. Then Gao Peng orders Silly to heal Goldie because the enemies are all Lord tier, so Da Zai and Dummy can't hold them down for long. Silly immediately heals Goldie, while Goldie tries to stand up and provoke the labyrinths to come at him, asking it if they didn't eat. One of the labyrinth watchers got angry and tried to attack Goldie and Silly, which made Gao Peng said that the control effects have worn off. Then he shouts Goldie and Silly names and tells them to watch out. Goldie got angry and bigger, then blocks the labyrinth punch while asking it if it had its fun just now, while Silly was flying toward Gao Peng afraid. Then Goldie kicks the labyrinth and grabs its sword. Then Goldie pointed the axe at the labyrinth watchers angrily while saying it's his turn now. Then Goldie throws the axe toward the labyrinth watcher, hitting its shoulder. Then Goldie punched the other labyrinths while behind him Dummy is fighting the other labyrinths. The two labyrinths said they should take on Goldie together, but Goldie used his invincible duck punch skills, which made the labyrinths scream in pain. One of the labyrinths said Goldie is too weird and they should retreat. Goldie angrily shouted he won't let the labyrinths run after bullying his friends. But Gao Peng tells Goldie to come back because they're at disadvantage there, and only 3 of the labyrinth watchers manage to escape. Gao Peng also promises Goldie that they'll take care of those 3 labyrinth watchers after the situation there is settled. The little lion can't believe what he witnesses and said Goldie has to be at least an epic grade or not, because being an epic grade wouldn't mean that it can school so many monsters stronger than itself. Xiao Zhu asks Gao Peng how should they take care of the carcasses while thinking it killed 8 Lord tier, and if the word gets out, it will shock the whole world. After all, a Lord tier familiar is enough to protect a base city, and that also means they'll have 8 Lord tier monster core crystals and many rare materials, so that is Gao Peng's true strength. Gao Peng said someone needs to guard those corpses and Oriate isn't weak, but it can only take on 1 labyrinth watcher at a time, so it's best for him to stay there and wait for backup. Then Gao Peng asked Mouse if it still remember the way back, but Mouse was confused. Then Gao Peng showed something while telling Mouse that if he can remember the way back, he will give the treasure he was holding to him, which made Mouse excited. Then the mouse tried to think hard to remember the way back, which made the little lion wonder what's that all about, because the treasure Gao Peng holding is just a random piece of ice that he froze all those years ago. A few seconds later, Mouse said he remembers the way back and he tells Gao Peng to give him the treasure. Then Dummy and Xiao Zhu proceed to walk away while Gao Peng tells Dummy to be safe and make sure to protect Xiao Zhu. Then Gao Peng look at Silly, who currently healing Goldie, and Flowery, who currently healing Da Zai. The little lion tells Gao Peng that Da Zai wasn't much help during the fight and it's a bit weak. Gao Peng responded that Da Zai is an epic grade and he asked the lion if isn't he nitpicking too much. But the lion was shocked to hear Da Zai is epic grade and said Da Zai should have awakened its skill. Then it asks Gao Peng if he hasn't developed Da Zai's special skill yet. Gao Peng happily asks the lion if his saying after awakening a skill, they can continue developing it, and he said that it seems like they have a lot of information to exchange with each other, which made the lion stun in shock. A few moments later, the lion was rolling on the ground laughing hard while confirming if Gao Peng says it's now only the 4th year after the evolution of his world and the highest monster tier is just the king tier. Then the lion called Gao Peng silly and said his homeland has tons of minerals and yet is there trying to dig up dirt. Then it asks Gao Peng if he's dumb. Gao Peng asks the lion if he's saying that the special and powerful treasures will spawn around the world during the early stages of evolution. The lion responded yes and said currently, the real treasures in the Black Fog world have all been snapped up by the stronger monsters, and to find an unclaimed treasure is harder than trying to become a god. So if he wants a treasure, he'll have to fight for it or think of a way to steal it. The lion also tells Gao Peng that his world has just started to evolve, so there wouldn't be any Emperor tier monsters in 4 years' time. Then he tells Gao Peng to put 2 and 2 together and he'll be able to take all the treasures for himself. Gao Peng responded that the lion said his world is just in its 4 years of evolution, and putting aside the number of treasures that have spawned, of course, he'll try to gather all the treasures. Then the lion seriously asks Gao Peng if he knows that some treasures require time to develop, so he has to take initiative to find his treasures and place them in his house to watch them grow, which made Gao Peng confused and asked the lion when did the treasures become his treasures. But the lion just laughed and responded that the treasures belong to the strong. which made Gao Peng ask the lion if he's talking to himself, and he said to think he have the audacity to say something like that. Then Gao Peng pushed the lion, which made the lion roll on the ground crying while telling Gao Peng that he will lose his power over him one day, and he just have to wait. Gao Peng showed Stripey picture to the lion while telling the lion to stop talking about treasures and that they should talk business. Then Gao Peng asks it if there's any way to shrink a monster's body size. The lion responded that the first method is to let his familiar evolve and obtain an ability that can control its body size, but as for the details on how to awaken that ability, he's not sure either. The second method is to sign a blood contract with a high-level space-type monster and open up a portable dimension to bring his familiar along with him anywhere. It's just that his familiar is huge, so the space requirements of the portable dimension would have to be great as well. To which Dazai, Goldie, and Gao Peng looked disappointedly at confused Silly, who is currently drinking some juice. Then Gao Peng responded never mind and asked if there were any other methods. The lion responded that he remembered that there's a kind of fruit called a guy's fruit that appears in the Black Phoenix Mountain, and that fruit allows the monster to shrink up to 1,000 smaller than its original size. But it's kind of useless because once his familiar enter combat mode, the effects of the guy's fruit will wear off. Moreover, there's a black feathered sparrow there and he wouldn't go head to head with it even when he was at his peak. Gao Peng asks if the Black Phoenix Mountain is far from the labyrinth place. The lion responded that it was only around 5,000 kilometers and back then, he could run that distance in just a few hours. Gao Peng said although 5,000 kilometers isn't far, the Black Fog world is still far more dangerous than Earth and king-tier monsters are also common there. But for Stripey, he'll have to make the trip no matter what because he promised Stripey that he would bring it along with him on an adventure. Then Xiao Zhu runs toward Gao Peng while telling him that the company has received the news and the logistic team will be there soon. Also, he said as Gao Peng instructed, he had brought him all the ice-type fruits that are available. Xiao Zhu opens the case showing a different type of ice fruit. But the lion tells Gao Peng how dare he use those low-class fruits as offerings to the divine lion, and he'll tell him he won't even eat a bite of such low-class food even if he has to starve. Gao Peng laugh and think he hopes the lion won't go back on its word. Then Gao Peng orders Silly to store the ice-type fruits away and he said they'll start exploring the other parts of the labyrinth, leaving the lion shocked. A few moments later, a few trucks arrived at the spatial rift. Then one man said the place is magnificent and it was a miracle. The other man said they are the first one to arrive there, which means all the treasure inside belongs to them and the place is such a large ruin. Then he wonders how much good stuff is in there. Suddenly they heard something walking toward them. Then they saw the labyrinth watcher, which made them shocked and wonder what it is. The labyrinth said he had already fled so far, but the humans still won't let him off the hook. Then it stamps its feet on the ground to use its shadow power. The people shouted it using shadow power, so they should hurry and put up their elemental barriers. But one man break his barrier, which made the other man say putting up an elemental barrier still isn't safe. Then he told his team to fall back. One man orders his beast to stop the labyrinth watcher, which made the labyrinth angry because it was a bird, then it attacked the people angrily. On the other hand, Gao Peng asks the lion who's currently eating why didn't those labyrinth watchers attack him back then, and he said he doesn't think a mere stone temple was enough to protect him. The lion responded that it wasn't that simple and back then, he had imposed a restriction on the labyrinth. The lion also said if those labyrinths were to force their way in, it would trigger the frost aura and blast them into ice cubes, which made Gao Peng think the lion definitely left countermeasures in place and the labyrinth watchers had wanted him to enter first too. Then Gao Peng asks the lion why didn't he attack him back then. The lion responded because he's a human, which made Gao Peng confused. Suddenly they heard someone fighting over on the other wall. The lion said the ice-type fruits are delicious and they need to go over and take advantage of the situation because what he loves the most is taking advantage of others. Then Gao Peng saw the labyrinth watcher who escaped earlier fighting with familiars. Then Gao Peng ordered Goldie to rescue the other familiars, to which Goldie immediately followed and ran toward the labyrinth. The labyrinth was ready to attack the man. Then the man shouted begs someone to save him. Suddenly he heard something and opened his eyes and saw Goldie punching the labyrinth while saying he let the labyrinth escape earlier, and they should see where it's going to run now. On the other hand, Gao Peng was behind the man wondering if the people are locals. The lion responded the people are not from the Black Fog world because even if they were standing far away, he can still smell that the people have the same sense as Gao Peng. The lion also said in the other words, the people come from the same world as Gao Peng, which made Gao Peng shocked. And if the people were really from the same world as him, because he know that the entrance to the labyrinth has been sealed off and normal people would have no way of getting through, let alone a group of black men. The lion said the only other possibility is the spatial rift at the desolate labyrinth isn't the only one between Gao Peng world and the Black Fog world. Gao Peng said the spatial rift newest one is in Lusaka and Africa, and he knows that before the cataclysm, Africa and the Huaxia region were separated by over 10,000 kilometers, and after the cataclysm, the Earth grew larger and the distance increased by at least tens of thousands of kilometers, but they haven't traveled far inside the spatial rift, so if that's the case, then maybe they can make use of spatial rifts to form new trade routes. Then Gao Peng asked the man if he's heard anywhere, which made the man ask if he was someone from the Huaxia region. A moment later, Gao Peng waves his hand while saying goodbye to the man, and the man also waves his hand while saying goodbye to Gao Peng and said that they are forever friends. But the lion said those people are dumb because they easily provide information after listening to some sweet words, and they're even thankful for it. Then Gao Peng said according to those people, there's a spatial rift that leads to the Lusaka base city 1,000 kilometers away in a city ruin located at the west of the desolate labyrinth. Gao Peng also said he'll tell the Explorer Union to come to develop that when they get home, and he happily said he's gonna be rich again, which made his familiars stun in shock. Then Gao Peng tells his familiars that they'll go explore the Black Phoenix Mountain first. 3 days later, in the Black World nearby the Black Phoenix Mountain, the lion tells Gao Peng that he only knows that the fruit come from the Black Phoenix Mountain, but he doesn't know the exact location. Gao Peng proudly responded it was alright because there will be kind-hearted locals who will help them, which made the lion ask where would he find the local. Then Gao Peng pointed to the tortoise who was currently surrounded by his familiars. The lion said the tortoise is a sad golden striped tortoise. Gao Peng tells the tortoise not to worry because they mean him no harm and they just wanted to ask him something. Then he asked it if it know where the guy's fruit is and said it was a fruit that grows on a tree. It has a white, speckled surface, and it can temporarily shrink anyone who eats it. Then Gao Peng ordered Da Zai to translate his word to the tortoise, to which Da Zai immediately translated. But the tortoise just goes inside its house, which made Goldie angrily kick it while telling it to come out because Gao Peng is talking to him. The lion wonders if he did join a group of villains. Then Gao Peng tells the tortoise that his Goldie has quite a temper that not even he can control it sometimes, so he asks the tortoise to try to recall where the guy's fruit was. The tortoise fearfully responded, which Da Zai translate and tells Gao Peng that it said that it's seen the fruit on the eastern side of the mountain range and that it was 5 mountains away from there. Then Gao Peng and the lion jump onto the tortoise's back while Gao Peng said he knew that the locals there have good hospitality. Then he asked the tortoise to take them to the eastern side of the mountain range first. A few moments later, the tortoise speak, which Da Zai translated, and said that the fruit is on the mountain and it doesn't dare to go any further because the mountain is full of scary monsters. Gao Peng ordered Flamey to fly up and let him know if he spots anything unusual in the vicinity, to which Flamey immediately followed. While flying, he saw something crawling in the stone and said that the monster had a Lord Tier aura. Suddenly, the monster looked at Flamey, which made Flamey said he have been found out. Then the monster eats something which made it bigger. Flamey thinks something's odd and he better keeps his distance. But before he fly away, he noticed something white and covered with tiny black spots. Then he realized that it was the fruit Gao Peng's searching for. Then Flamey tells Gao Peng that he found the fruit, which made Gao Peng happy, but he saw the monster named White Steel-Bladed Beast chasing Flamey, who was trying to fly back at him. It was level 49 Lord Tier in perfect grade and its attribute is Wind. Its abilities are Hardened Steel Armor level 3, Sharp Edge Spike level 4, and Wind Mastery level 3. Its special characteristic is Roaring Wind Armor, which means a roaring wind forms an elemental armor inside its body. Effect 1, Passive Effect said gives the monster certain resistance to psychic and spiritual attacks. Effect 2, Passive Effect said while moving at high speed, it's able to further boost its own rush of air from within its armor, and its weakness is Ice type. Also, its description said not only does it have hard armor, but it is also surprisingly light and it's capable of moving at high speed and unleashing powerful, explosive attacks. However, as it was born with short stature, the White Steel-Bladed Beast is insecure about its height. Flamey said he saw the fruits on the mountain, but there was a Lord Tier monster guarding it. But Gao Peng was curious about the White Steel-Bladed Beast's insecurity about its height. Then Gao Peng looked at Da Zai while saying at least the beast has 7 to 8 meters high and it's still feeling insecure when it has that kind of height. Then he asks what about their Da Zai then, which made Da Zai confused. Then Gao Peng said the beast monster isn't one to be provoked, but he has to get his hands on a guy's fruit no matter what because that is his promise to Stripey. Then he orders Da Zai to attack Goldie with his lightning, which Da Zai followed and hit the confused Goldie. On the other hand, the beast flies toward Flamey while angrily saying that he hates all the monsters that are higher than him. Then the beast attacked Flamey using its wind skill. Fortunately, Flamey used his blazing feathers in time to block the beast's attack, but Flamey still got caught in explosion and fall to the sky, which made Gao Peng tell his familiars to be quick and help Flamey. The lion said that the beast has incredible explosive power and he have once seen it take out other monsters of the same level in a single shot. Then Gao Peng tells his familiars to remember to protect their vital points. Goldie tells Dummy and Silly to go save Flamey and he'll take care of the ugly insect. Then Goldie attacks the beast, but the beast uses its Storm Cross kill skill to attack Goldie, which made Goldie throw on the ground. Dummy, who currently protecting Silly and Flamey on the ground, called Goldie's name worried, but Goldie tells Dummy not to come over. Then Goldie angrily said what doesn't kill him only makes him stronger. Then Goldie tells Dummy that he wants to have a one-on-one with the beast. Then Goldie tells the beast to come at him and called it Shorty, and he said it should use everything it has to destroy the fleshy vessel of him and let him taste the sweet nectar of death once again. The beast got angry and tells Goldie how dare he call him Shorty. Then the beast immediately ran toward Goldie's back and cut Goldie's leg. Then it confidently thinks if Goldie wants to catch him, Goldie needs to train for another few hundred years. But Goldie just smiled and asked the beast if that was all he got because the pain will only make him stronger, which made the beast shocked and confused to see Goldie's wounds are healing. On the other hand, Gao Peng thinks Goldie controls its muscles to avoid dying of blood loss, and at the same time stacking its passive, and that is a sign of it having incredibly high control over its body. But Gao Peng wonder when did Goldie become that cringe that even Dummy can't stand it anymore. The beast thinks it looks like he has to end the fight fast because Goldie is strange and he thinks it's crazy. Then it ran toward Goldie fast and hit Goldie using its 1,000 gusts of roaring wind, which made Goldie's yellow jacket break. But when the beast looked back, it was shocked and confused to see Goldie heavily injured but got bigger. The beast asks why Goldie becoming bigger, but Goldie just praised the beast for its spirit. Then Goldie once again provokes the beast to come at him with everything it got. The beast got angry and ran fast toward Goldie while saying since Goldie wants to die, he'll fulfill its wish. But Goldie uses one of his skill which made him see the beast move slowly. Then he caught the beast. Then Goldie crushed the beast using his hand while telling it so what if he injured him badly because once he gets caught he is nothing, which made Gao Peng relieved and said it was a frightening battle, and if Goldie hadn't already stacked its passive before fighting the beast, Goldie would have probably been knocked out with one hit. Then Gao Peng tells Flowery to go on and heal Goldie, to which Flowery followed and used its petals to heal Goldie. Goldie happily said that Flowery healing power is feel nice. After healing Goldie, Flowery cried while saying she was all used up and ugly now. Then Dummy put an leaf on Flowery head which made it confused. Then Dummy tells Flowery that she was pretty again, which made Flowery shy. A few moments later, Gao Peng saw the fruit named Guy's Fruit. Its effect said it contains the power of guys, and upon consuming it, any living object will be able to change its own size by at most 1,000-fold. Gao Peng said there are only 4 fruits and it'd be a waste coming all that way if he didn't take the tree with him. Then Gao Peng orders Da Zai and Dummy to dig the tree out because they taking it with them. Then Gao Peng looked at the beast and said since they were already taking the tree, he asked the beast how about they take him with them too, which made the beast angrily call Gao Peng insolent and shameless. Then it tell Gao Peng to let him go. A few days later, the beast was shaking in fear while asking if Stripey is a devil. Gao Peng tell the beast that he didn't lie to him, and Stripey was shorter than him when it first became his familiar, but Stripey is big now. The beast speaks and Da Zai translates it to tell Gao Peng that the beast asks him if he really isn't tricking him. Gao Peng tells the beast not to worry because he thinks there's a lot of potential in him and it may be difficult for him to grow as tall as Stripey, but becoming as tall as Dummy isn't impossible. While Gao Peng kicked Da Zai, which made Da Zai confused and angrily asked Gao Peng why did he kick him. Gao Peng tells Da Zai that he's trying to persuade the beast and he doesn't want him to agitate it, so he tells Da Zai to be good and he'll give him 5 packs of dried mealworms later. But Da Zai demanded that he want 1 box of dried mealworms. On the other hand, the beast thinks although he was beaten by Gao Peng familiar, he should have a way to make him bigger, but if he agrees immediately, he wonders if wouldn't he look like easy to fool. Then the beast speaks, which Da Zai translates and tells Gao Peng that it agrees to the contract, but it says if Gao Peng can't make it bigger, it won't listen to his commands even if the contract is signed. Gao Peng responded that it was not a problem. Then Gao Peng showed the fruit to Stripey while confirming if Stripey didn't always say he wanted to go on adventures with them. Then Gao Peng tells Stripey that he can become smaller once he eats the fruit, but Stripey sadly responded that if he becomes smaller, he can't protect Gao Peng. Gao Peng tells Stripey not to worry about it and that it's just that he can't go around fighting other monsters after eating the fruit or else the effect will wear off, to which Stripey excitedly said he'll never fight. Then Flamey dropped the fruit inside Stripey's mouth. Then Stripey slowly becomes smaller, which made Gao Peng think although Stripey's still very tall, at least he'll be able to bring Stripey outside with him and those tangerine trees in Stripey's head are still alive. Then Gao Peng look at Goldie, who's telling the beast that he isn't bad. Then Goldie tells the beast that they should train together when they get back. Da Zai also asks the beast if it can stand it, which made the beast angry and tells Goldie that he's not scared of him and that he was just careless last time. Gao Peng thinks his familiars that the number has exceeded double digits, and the lineup is beginning to take shape, so they can attack, defend, and heal, and now, even the only remaining story coming, assassination, is also filled. Jai Hyun tells Gao Peng that his familiars team's not bad, which made Gao Peng happy. Then White drops axes on the ground while Jai Hyun tells Gao Peng that he brought some equipment for Goldie, but Gao Peng wonder why are those axes so familiar to him. Jai Hyun responded that the axes are the Labyrinth Watcher's arms that he brought back, and he thought they looked nice, so he instructed the laboratory to take the axes down and make some modifications. Goldie grabs the axe and swings it, then Goldie asks White if there are any heavier axes because the axes are too light, which made White stun. Then Gao Peng tells Goldie to stop watching so many journeys to the west. Goldie grabs the axes and puts them on his back disappointed. Then Gao Peng tells his grandfather that he encountered monster trainers from the Lusaka base city, Africa outside the desolate labyrinth, and they told him that Lusaka's spatial rift is located 1,000 kilometers west of the desolate labyrinth. Jai Hyun asks if it's really only 1,000 kilometers and if anyone else knows about it. Gao Peng responded that only the people he saved should know, and one party is Lusaka's high-ranking officials, and the other party is the Black Badger Group's high-ranking members. Gao Peng also said he has already agreed to have a business partnership with both parties. Jai Hyun said alright and tells Gao Peng not to worry about that matter anymore and that he can just focus on the important things. Then Jai Hyun asked Gao Peng if he's heading out after he got back and if he have prepared everything already. Gao Peng responded yes and said they'll be traveling further and they'll head to St. Jelum City first because that's where the essence of the Undying Hedi would most probably be. Gao Peng also said that all left for Dummy's promotion to mythical grade is the essence of the Undying Heart, and he'll have peace of mind once he gets it. Then Gao Peng also said St. Jelum is the capital of the Yellow Desert Nation and they'll pass by the Jinsha region during their journey to the Yellow Desert region, and the headquarters of the Platinum Hands is in the Jinsha region, so they'll get to visit an old friend. Jai Hyun put his hand on Gao Peng's shoulder while telling Gao Peng that he's an adult now and he decides on his own matter. Then Jai Hyun tells Gao Peng that he has already stored food and equipment inside his little jellyfish. Then he tells Gao Peng to be careful on the road. After a few days, in the highland, Stripey was walking fast, which made the other familiars shocked. On the other hand, Mouse smells something and points at it while telling Gao Peng that there was some treasure at the foot of that mountain, which made Gao Peng wonder and look at the map while relaxing in the chair. Gao Peng said it was the Mount Everest. Then he said they can stop by there and he tells Stripey that they'll go over the Mount Everest first. A few moments later, they saw the pond named in the system as Freezing Aqua. Its description said it was a liquid containing huge amounts of frost power, and the strong frost power is extremely corrosive. The lion was amazed and said the water is extremely beneficial for him. Then he asked his team to wait for him for a while, which made Gao Peng think the description the system gave him is a bit vague and he wonder if isn't just a pond of ice water, and why it's considered a treasure. Then the lion dives into the pond and rises up happily while its monster level increased to level 41 Lord tier, which made Gao Peng shocked and confused about how the lion managed to break through just like that and if the pond is really a treasure. Then Gao Peng saw the lion going out of the pond, which made him ask it why did it stop absorbing. The lion responded he have broken through to Lord tier so that cold water will have little effect on him and that he need to find a more concentrated freezing aqua. Gao Peng asks the lion if it can level up just with ice water. The lion responded that it was definitely not the case for normal monsters and that is only useful for monsters with advanced bloodlines. Also, that won't work on his other familiars either because that is only for rapid recovery of strength. Since he was once at Emperor tier, he has a foundation. Gao Peng said alright, but he also said he still have one last question because he just want to know why are the lions still so small after reaching Lord tier. The lion said Gao Peng is shallow-minded and he responded a little body harbors a great soul. Then Gao Peng look at the ice mountain while saying they'll reach the Yellow Desert region once they go past that mountain. With so many Lord tier familiars with him and King tier Stripey, he can reach greater lengths than before. Then Gao Peng angrily walks away while telling Platinum Hands that they'll be meeting very soon. A few days later, in the Golden Sand Desert, Gao Peng, who's looking at the map, said the map clearly shows that there's a town nearby and he thinks coming to places that are located far from the base city is troublesome because he can't even use a GPS there. Flamey tells Gao Peng that there are houses ahead of them, which made Gao Peng said finally, but he was confused to see the monsters named white-spotted herbivorous monkeys and herd. The monkeys' grades are normal to excellent and their level is 5 to 19. The monkey's attribute is water and its description says it is a type of monster that likes to imitate humans and its favorite thing to do is wear human clothes. clothes. It also possesses an average IQ and is active and full of energy. Gao Peng wonders why a herd of monkeys likes to wear clothes, and he thinks the monkeys running away very fast because they're probably spooked by Stripey's aura. Then Gao Peng wonders if someone raising those monkeys. Then Gao Peng knocked on one of the house doors while asking if there was anyone home. Someone behind the door responded no, which made Gao Peng speechless for a second. Then Gao Peng said it looked like there was no one home and thanked someone inside the door. That something behind the door responded welcome. Then the beast destroyed the door while Gao Peng said he wondered how could a human say something so stupid, but it turns out it was just a dumb monkey. The monkey monster's name is white-furred carnivorous monkey, a fat species. It's level 25 commander tier in perfect grade and its attribute is ice. Its weakness is low mobility due to its fatness, and its description said it's a rare breed of the white-spotted herbivorous monkey family, and every carnivorous monkey is born to be the leader of a group of herbivorous monkeys. Also, white-furred carnivorous monkeys are more ferocious and aggressive than gentle white-spotted herbivorous monkeys.